All right, happy Monday. Welcome back to Retake the Week. And it's been actually kind of a predictable 7 days. We said it last Monday. It was the title, it was the headline. Vitality will win the Grand Slam. Like they just will. And we set out the what we believed would be the sort of precursor, the factors required, or things that need to go right for them to not be Grand Slam champions. And we speculated, or I speculated, I can't remember if you were on the same page on this exactly. Basically, they had to lose to Falcons to not win the Grand Slam. Like at some point they had to lose to Falcons, and probably lose to Falcons twice. Instead, they did lose to Falcons once, but in a seeding match, and then they didn't lose again. They just cruised through. So yes, the predictable has happened, and something that was a bit shocking, it's kind of been anticipated, was the other big news of Rio, the full retirement. Plus, there's been some roster news, left, right, and centre. There's a lot to get into. Just not all of it that shocking is my main point. Before we get into all of that, let's thank the people who make this show so special and available on audio platforms, and generally make these very expensive lights that I have in this room to make myself look so much better than I actually am affordable. It's the members. The members who get access to the King's Court interviews, the BTS segments that we just finished, and of course, all other VODs and live streams. They also get access to the right to vote and the right to influence the content that happens on this channel, including their own podcast. Contributors at the highest tier, that's XL, Romich, and Amnesiac, get to manipulate the content on the channel directly by having their own podcast where they choose the topics, and they can even come on to debate me. So if you want to become a contributor, yeah, that's the perk. Shout out to the Court Honor Roll as well, you see on screen. Quack. Boring, predictable, easy. What was this week to you?
Like Rio, yeah, it's pretty predictable. I think it was pretty clear from how the Vitality players were moving and how they were carrying themselves throughout the entire weekend was that they were very hungry for this Grand Slam. They wanted to make that history. I don't know how many interviews I read with Flamesy. Well, I know exactly how many interviews I read with Flamesy. It was 2 where he said exactly that, and it's but it's pretty clear that like stuff they really wanted to get this Grand Slam, so that was pretty predictable. I was not necessarily expecting the other news though. Like, I saw somebody predicted this. Like, I think when they announced IEM Rio, like a couple of months ago, I saw Osni had like immediately quote tweeted it. It was like, I got a feeling that Fallen is going to announce his retirement here. And then, I was like, what the fuck? What an insane pull. Like, obviously it was going to happen in Brazil. But it's kind of a crazy pull, especially at that time, considering they were fucking winning a couple of months ago. But yeah, no, didn't necessarily expect it. I honestly thought it was going to be one of those other ones that like, I'm here to announce my new coaching program. And like, say, fuck off. Like,
would have been fun.
Pay
Would
me
have been fun
money.
if he
Yeah.
really like dangled the fruit, and especially if he takes that mic, pretends to get emotional a bit, goes with like, oh, it's been so many years, and Counter-Strike's given me so much, and finally I'm going to give it back to you all. Get coaching now.
Yeah.
That would have been Two-Face. That would have been iconic.
Yeah, I've seen, it's kind of like that one. I've seen people meme about it. That bait tweet about the tweet about the Face It major final. Somebody saying, I'm hearing news that there's going to be news after the Face It major final. Huge for Counter-Strike, could be huge for the scene. And then I can't even remember what it was. It was some shit like fucking Face It's free or something, some shit like that. Like, we now have servers in Germany or whatever the fuck it was.
It was the tiniest little update that really didn't change the world.
The greatest bait tweet of all time, I think, to be honest. But that's what it felt like. Like, that's what I thought it was going to be. But
yeah. No, it's interesting. We got to just get straight to it, right? It's going to be our first topic. Obviously, the big announcement on stage, a very emotional moment. Fallen announces that he will retire. He's playing out the rest of the year, but he will be retiring at the end of it. It's something, This is one of those things where it's like, even if you're not the biggest Fallen fan, like you don't think he's that great a player, or you don't think he was that as an IGL, or whatever it was, it is a fixture of the scene at least. Like, that's the bare minimum. Like, it's a fixture of the scene moving on. But realistically, he was an all-time great IGL. I mean, we've had conversations, debates about him, where he ranks all time. He's won 2 majors, several S-tier trophies, LAN after LAN after LAN. Like, he's been a winner and a champion in Counter-Strike, and he's been one of the few truly successful Brazilian figures in CS in general. Despite the nation's passion for the game and its desire to win, very few have managed to actually orchestrate those victories. And yeah, Fallen is chief amongst them. So yeah, over the course of CS, I mean, emerging in the top level of CS probably like 2014. Like, I think that's roughly when they start making majors as I was about to say as a country, but technically for his teams as a team, as a core. And from that point onwards, yeah, pretty much been just there. Like, it's just always there. Sometimes as a part of a decent roster, sometimes not. Sometimes as part of a great roster. And I remember a period you were not familiar with, which was the truly great SK Luminosity, or Luminosity SK period, where it was terrifying to see that man on the server. Like, across from your team, your favorite team on broadcast, you're just sweating every second, utterly bricking it. They were a terrifying roster, and it was in good part thanks to him, not just in terms of his leadership, but also his ability. Like, he was a great AWPer, took really high risk, high leverage shots, hit them, and made utter mincemeat of offenses, really, because it was a CT side play that was most significant. Orchestrated a new sort of meta in terms of the hyper aggressive and combative and just punishing CT sides. Got multiple majors, multiple wins out of it. And then, we had the rough years. And those went on for a while. But, he continued to inspire, continued to lead. And finally we get to this with the latest resurgence. Got a lot of people believing in him, especially reignited those debates we had about his ranking all time. And now finally he's hanging it up. But man, what a career. If we go back to 1.6 and all that stuff, like, we go back far enough, it goes even longer. But I'm just going to keep it CSGO onwards because I'm not too familiar with that stuff. But yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting because I think if it wasn't for the 2025 that he had, he would kind of just have been in the same category as like a Kenny S or a Guardian, like a past great who then had a pretty clear drop off and had a couple of rough years, and then we didn't forget about them, but like we moved on from them. But now he like because of what he did last year, and in the lead up to last year, it ties into his entire time on Fury, I suppose. But mostly last year. Now he sort of sits in like he definitely sits up there in like one of the very high tiers, like an Apex or a Carrigan, in like that kind of level of longevity and that level of impact, like purely personally. So big kudos, like but like honestly, okay, his career, his achievements, they're great. Pope, Catholic, etc. But like, I'm trying to think what happens now, because it's also a bit worrying to me for Brazilian CS how much of a load-bearing pillar Fallen's in-game leadership has been, not just in the Luminosity and SK days, not even just on the Furia, like just now recently. Also, honestly, on Imperial, because when he was on that Imperial squad, yeah, Furia still existed and they still hung around, but it was like, I feel like we didn't have many tier 2 Brazilian sides that were actually up there to fight. It was like Pain, maybe. It's like, you, even today, he's going to retire at 35. That's how old he's going to be at the end of the year. Even now, he's having huge impact, like, as the caller. And I'm wondering, it's a bit worrying that I don't think that's going to be replaced. I think, unfortunately, unless like, do you see a way for us to not go back to the dark ages of art-led Furia with safe opping and drop being the support player? Like, are we going back to that time in Brazilian CS, or do you see a way out of that?
We're leaving. Essentially, he's leaving the scene at a time when it is, I think, more fertile and healthier than it had been at various points post-COVID. Like, post-COVID, sure, I mean, we like to laugh at Furia. Furia were actually a very good team, a legit top team. But there was a period like 2022, 2023, which ends up seeing, sort of consolidation of power with Fallen joining Furia to kind of call second call an AWP, maybe like alongside art, like trying to make the best of it, because that was a truly rough period. But if you look at it in 2026, like we have this, it's not like there's a clear cut, this is a team that will be in the top 5 in the world, but at least there is something. Like Legacy are competitive, Pain are still very talented, MIBR, whilst they have, obviously tried some international pieces, at least they're still making majors and are still able to showcase some truly elite Brazilian players, especially Insani, who's just been an absolute fiend for them. Now that he's found his rhythm a lot better, because early CS2, Insani was struggling as well. Like that's the same sort of period, like that sort of 2-year period where just everything wasn't going quite right. It's not perfect. It is still a bit of a mishmash sort of scene where it's like you've not quite got the right team yet, we've not quite got the right atmosphere yet, but I think they're going in the right direction. So I don't feel like the Void is as chasming as it would be when a player like Fallen leaves. But the other teams in the region, the players in the region, there's something there that I think is getting better. Sharks with Koala, looking more positive, winning lands away from home occasionally, or going deep occasionally away from home. Like there's something to be said for the Americas in general, and for Brazil right now to be optimistic about. So I'm not as doom and gloom about it. I'm not quite as doom and gloom about it. Now, there's an argument to be made that historically, Fallen did fall into the trap that players like Neo and Taz did, where they stuck around and almost got in the way of too many players and too many teams, because he did hold 2 slots. Like he was your AWP and your IGL, fresh young IGL up and coming. Yeah, can't join Fallen's team. Hot young AWPer up and coming, you can't join Fallen's team. So there was an element of blocking the upward momentum of the scene at one point, and I think that's a part of the reason why we end up in that sort of space in 2022, 2024. That's why eventually at some point he does start giving up half of his responsibilities. He starts, making concessions to try and allow more upward momentum, or upward movement rather. But it is an unfortunate part of the legacy he's going to leave. I do wish that had been a shift that happened earlier, because just as an IGL, I think he would have had far more value earlier, rather than sticking to the AWP. But yeah, it is something that we hope will like, when he's gone, we see the fruit of the Brazilian scene ripen and come, be exposed for everyone to watch and witness and enjoy. So yeah, a big loss, but I don't think one that's entirely negative. They will find a way. They will find replacements. They will have other players come up, and he will be remembered, I think, in all of them. Like, they will all know who the godfather of their scene was. And he did inherit that title, but hey, that is a title that goes through with the generations. It wasn't just Fallen appears, now the Brazilian scene is a thing. He took from Kogu, and I'm sure someone will try and take that place as well. Find out who it is, but yeah. Fallen's retiring a legend. Hall of Famer, first ballot, should be, but we'll see. We'll see how HLTV does that.
Oh,
they've made their own horrible bed for that.
He won't be retired when they make the nominations, but if and when he actually does get inducted, then he will be retired. So I wonder if maybe they sneak him in onto the ballot as a technicality.
It's more. I don't think they'll put him on the ballot that comes immediately after his retirement, because that'd be a bit silly. But I assume within a year or two after that, they'll try and stick him on the ballot. But hey, there'll already be 15 CS 1.6, 10 CS Source, still another 15 CS:GO retirees to try and get through in the way. It's like it might be a while until we see him on the ballot. But hey,
I think they
made a weird choice with Olofmeister, in my opinion. So maybe Fallen will get there faster.
And still not undeserved. So I think Fallen should go up there. If Fallen was retired when Olofmeister got picked in, I think Fallen should have been above him.
Yes, I think a lot of players should have been above Olofmeister. That was kind of my whole point of contention with that.
No, yeah. But it's not undeserved for Olofmeister either. Like, he is a Hall of Famer.
Eventually. He's not so much a Hall of Famer that he had to go above a bunch of people who retired decades ahead of him, but whatever.
No, but when I'm looking at that ballot, I'm also like, no, Olaf did more. This is not a point. This is not a point for this week. This is not for this week. Not for this week.
But yeah, so no, it's going to be weird to see Furia post Fallen though as well. Like, who's going to come in IGL? Like, I don't know if there's been any rumors about that, but to me, that's the one question mark is because Furia went international. A part of what allowed them to go international was Fallen deciding to just IGL. And of course, the realization that Cello is us. And now that they've done this experiment, like what? Do we look international again? Do we go back to Brazil using the? That's the big question. I don't think I don't think it's impossible we see Furia returning next year with art, for example. Like, I think that'd be pretty fun for one, but it'd also be viable. Like, you'd maintain your America's spot. You'd actually bring in a somewhat proven, at least he's got a track record of playing at top events and has done a fairly decent job implementing systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, or you go just drive the bus off the cliff and just Yekindar IGL. Screw. Thank you, chat, for your involvement. But yeah, that's the real question. It's not so much how the Brazilian scene recover. I think it's just how will Furia bounce back from this.
Yeah, I think that's also kind of my question mark, because if we go back to the time when Brazilian teams will be upshoots that, it's their highlight of the year if they make playoffs. If we go back to that time when Fallen leaves, then that's kind of worrying. I think when you're announcing this early, obviously there's nothing to be said, really. We also don't even know, like, the rumors that we have heard, even if they might be pulled out of somebody's ass. Molodoy to Aurora or whatever the hell was the rumor. Like, those.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the rumors we've heard don't touch Fallen at the moment. So it's kind of like it could go, maybe it could go anywhere. But like, if I was going to make a change right now, or if I was going to decide like right now, if I was management and I was like teeing up for what change we're going to make at the end of the year, I feel like when you announce retirement this early, it feels like he's just going to be passing the torch to Yekindar. To be honest, I feel like that's where we're going to end up.
I would be a bit surprised, and I'm not sure I'd like it too much, but hey, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. We might find out, like, through rumor and through, like, messaging that actually the plan is for some sort of Brazilian promotion, or maybe it is, hey, at the end of the year, turns out those rumors are all wrong. Yes, Alexi B and Molodoy are on the same team. It's just not Aurora. That sort of thing could still happen. Like, I don't think that's insane. Yeah. So, all open. And to be honest, them signing Lexi B would be kind of insane. Like, that would be...
If all rumors are to be believed, that team wouldn't even be Aurora. It would be Foot.
Yes, if we go that far, yeah. That's whatever.
Yeah. Wow. Talking about Hall of Famers, I did just look up who got inducted into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Wu-Tang Clan were one of them.
It's for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, are you not aware of this? That since maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they've started inducting rappers into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Jay-Z is in there. Tupac is in there.
Well, if this isn't just confirmation of what everyone's been saying has been true for a while, rock and roll is dead. I don't know what it is.
And NWA were the first ones, and you can imagine that probably didn't go down very well with the typical rock and roll crowd. So then Tupac, Tupac got in before Dire Straits. That, I think, is a little bit of a...
That is insane. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted Tupac before Dire Straits.
Tupac before Dire Straits. We had, honestly, this isn't even a rapper, but Radiohead got in before Depeche Mode and Doobie Brothers.
That's fine. That's entirely
fuck
fine.
Radiohead. Stevie Nicks got in as the solo artist. I think, are Fleetwood Mac even in? Yeah, they are. Okay, Fleetwood Mac got in the 90s, but then Stevie Nicks also got inducted as a solo artist, which is a funny thing they do. Eurythmics got in the same year as Eminem. Duran also got in that same year, so they're
Sorry,
equally
why
rock
are so
and
many
roll as.
pop bats? Is there no music Hall of Fame? Is that why everyone's going in the
But
Rock and
Duran
Roll Hall of
Duran is
Fame?
valid. Duran Duran is valid.
Duran is not rock. What are we talking about?
Yes, they are. Holy shit.
Duran. We're just making any old shit up.
A Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest got in the same year as Ozzy Osbourne. Although Ozzy Osbourne's previous bands have, of course, also been inducted, I believe. Foreigner was the same year as that. Cher, Mary J. Blige. Last year we had Outkast.
All right, so this is just the Music Hall of Fame because we're just making any old shit up. So who cares?
Yeah, Outkast got in on their first nomination the same year. Soundgarden got in on their third, and the White Stripes on their second. Phil Collins is in, but that's kind of valid. Fuck yeah. And yeah, this year it was Sade, together with Oasis, Wu-Tang Clan, and Iron Maiden, to name a few.
Yes, it's just not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's just the Music Hall of Fame. It's just called
But
the Music Hall of Fame.
Every year they do make kick-ass, like, because they do like kick-ass concerts where like they do tributes to each other. I think I saw one which was from last year, which was when the White Stripes got inducted. They actually had 21 pilots doing, I think it was Seven Nation Army, and it was actually fucking good. It was actually crazy. It was pretty weird. I didn't know they could actually.
I'm going to keep ignoring the mainstream world of music to the best of my abilities because everything about it disgusts me. Let's move on to the actual retake of IEM Rio, and we begin with Le Grand Slam 2, Boogaloo Electrique. It's time for, of course, the most predictable part of the weekend. Vitality won their Grand Slam in Rio. What a shock. It looked a bit shaky in groups. Like just a bit shaky. Not just because they lost straight up a game to Falcons. And of course, what a way to end a historic streak with a seeding decider match. Thank you, ESL. Really momentous piece of history. A seeding decider match. Anyway, but after the kind of unconvincing G2 win they had, it looked a bit iffy. And then they struggled against Falcons, lose a nuke match. ZywOo drops an electric 0.94 rating. I did have some doubts creeping in. Like, in my mind, I was like, is this team getting overwhelmed by the idea of this moment? Like, I get it. This is a big thing, and they've kind of built it up themselves, as you mentioned. Flames E's talking about it. Like, it's clearly something they're thinking about. But they've also clearly built up and thought about the major, the first Grand Slam, the other major. Like, they're not a team that pretends the big events are not big events. And then they enter the quarterfinal, and I put this game on against Na'Vi, and I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. And Na'Vi proceeded to get utterly fucking destroyed. Like, it wasn't even a contest. Like, ZywOo drops a 192, but I was just watching the game, just like, ZywOo does whatever he wants, and it just works. Like, his CT side against everyone on Mirage, it feels like they play Mirage in every series. No, it's just the grand final and the quarter. But every time they play Mirage, it's just like ZywOo tries pick, ZywOo hits shot, ZywOo walks away without a lick of damage on him. Like, just over and over and over again. Like, it was systematic. Against Na'Vi, Apex was filthy. And the rest of the team, like, Mezzi comes out of a 45 round semi-final with a 0.86 rating, and you don't feel it. Like, we didn't feel it watching. Like, it didn't matter. They had so much working, so much power in their key players. Yeah, Vitality absolutely dog walk Na'Vi, as I'm sure they will continue to do for a while if they keep playing like this. So yeah, that was a pretty stark reminder of who they actually are and why I should never have worried. I don't know about you, Quack, but I quickly realized, I was like, I should never have been even slightly bothered about this sort of wobbly start that they had to those groups. They're fine.
They're fine. I think, look, I feel like with Vitality, there's just patterns about how their mental fortitude kind of works, because I've said before that, like, you can win a map against Vitality, but they will win the series. And I think it is because they have that ability to, like, when they slip up, they're pretty quickly back there, and like they take it so seriously that they will win out the series when they lose a map. And this to me, this feels like kind of that, but at a greater scale, where They have that slight stumble against G2, whatever. And then against Falcons, it's at loss, and they're like, okay, shit, holy, like, guys, we might actually lose the Grand Slam if we play like this in playoffs. But they actually corrected, and they actually managed to do something with it. And that's I think it's to me, it seems like that at a greater scale, at least from the outside looking in. I obviously don't have inside access into Vitality. I also don't have access to good lighting, so this is why I've gone blurry. I'm gonna put a light on my camera now. But yeah, we have a Grand Slam. It's a historic Grand Slam. It's the first team ever to win 2, and they did it consecutively as well. And ROPS has now won 3, which is Midas touch, turning everything to gold, as someone quipped.
I mean, it's just further proof that it is kind of OP. Like, ROPS has shown this over and over again, but if you have someone in those roles playing as well as he does, feeling it, and like, honestly, just owning the role and the positions to the extent he does, it's just kind of nuts. It's just kind of nuts. You get so much freedom in the rest of the players. You actually get just an unfair firepower advantage that most teams can't even dream of matching. Like, it is insane, and yeah, he's proven it again. Another Grand Slam, surely odds-on favorite for another major win. The man deserves every car, whatever car he fucking buys. Like, let him buy anything. Like, give him a McLaren. Who cares? He will make it back for you. As an org, that should be his company car. Like, just give him whatever he wants, because it just works. So the Grand Slam locked in. I mean, after it, the Furia game I thought was actually probably the most compelling game Furia have played in a while, and I think especially key to that is Case Rotto and Yuri. That duo really firing, really popping off. A great sort of level to display when your leader, your captain, your godfather, announces his retirement. You guys put on a bit of a tribute act, like, yeah, Brazil still got something, but it's not enough. It's nice, but it's not enough against this Vitality side who did play fantastically. ROPS had a great Ancient. Like, it's just too many things going against you. Plus, Molodoy continues his rough 2026. Like, it got slowly worse, and now it's just kind of bad. He has a dreadful showing in this series. It's not the worst I've seen him play in terms of, a bit too confident, a bit sloppy, bad deaths, but it's just more of the same sort of symptoms leading to this sickness. And then, finally, Grand Final against Spirit, which was compelling, then slightly less compelling, then just an absolute wash. Like, that Mirage had me believing that this would be a game, because despite what I described, where, Zai will try something, Zai will gets the opener, over and over again. They bring it back. They make it work. Spirit actually figure out a way to get the map to overtime. Now, in overtime, it is overwhelmingly Vitality winning the rounds and feeling comfortable, looking good. But Spirit put up an insane sort of performance there. And then Nuke, 13-10. I'm like, okay, maybe that's just Vitality are just better on Nuke. Map 3, Dust 2. Never mind. Never mind. I made excuses. I drew it up in my head. I was like, okay, so they picked the map. It was really close. They got the confidence. They lose the other team's map pick. But yeah, it's now back to Dust. No. Utterly wrecked. Vitality, a dominant showing in that grand final. Everyone came to play on their side. On the Spirit side, the form we'd seen from Tanir kind of evaporated. Donk wasn't able to sort of revert the prevailing HLTV narrative that has now decided he is washed. And Zaiwu gets an MVP that, I don't know quite. Did he deserve it? Was he, as our good friend Kevin Durant would say, was he?
You the real MVP.
The real MVP, exactly. Like, I'm not sure if he was the real... Like, he was only a 139.
Only
He's only a 139, and his closest teammate was a 116. Like, I would have given it to ROPS. I don't know. I think HLTV pretty biased, again, trying to create this fake narrative. Of course, I'm taking the piss. Yeah, well deserved.
I'm sure somebody
obviously.
said that.
No, there's been some genuine Munacy propaganda, which is obviously idiotic. Like, he made playoffs, immediately got 2-0'd. Sure, he had a 128 in that game, but obviously Munacy cannot win MVP of this event.
I think he could have. He could have if they got to the final. I think,
but he didn't.
With the,
so there's no case.
Oh yeah, but like with the 148 he has, I could see him pipping Zaibu, who's almost
He
0.10 behind him.
He could have got a second place one, but he wasn't second place, so that's just irrelevant.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. So he wasn't.
We'll get to Munacy and giving him his flowers in a minute, but for now, yeah.
That's just
it was a clear and obvious
stupidity. One. Yeah, it was a clear and obvious one. It's Zaibu again. These wins are getting very easy for Vitality. Now, especially that the team that was at the very least facing them quite often, but not necessarily challenging them, has also blown up. We're going to get to that in a bit later. I'm talking about Mouse. Falcons as well, obviously, have a little bit blown up. Navi don't hold a candle to them. Furia. Yeah, this was a convincing series. Aside from the Falcons' loss in groups, I think, or like in playoffs, Furia gave them the best fight, I think, overall, all things considered. So that's nice, but it's nowhere near. And it's just over. Just pack it up. Who can challenge Vitality for that grand final? Kerrigan-led Falcons.
You have to believe. Like that's pretty much where your hope lies right now. Because based on the set of contenders we have, so there's an off chance that once in a blue moon, Parryvision could give them some difficulty if Vitality are barely trying. So there's one condition. The other one is, as you mentioned, Falcons, Kerrigan. He comes in, he settles everything. He unlocks the full extent of their firepower. Lovely jubbly. Maybe in some weird way that could work. Spirit. You see that grand final from Spirit? No donk. Like, there's no real donk. A donking Spirit, I think, has a chance of upsetting them one-off in a best of three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are ways they can be defeated, but not usurped. Like, they're not going to be usurped. Like Na'Vi are one of the teams where we talk about, like, they've got good tactics. Makaze's now showing some real consistent star stuff, but they're just not deep enough. They're nowhere near deep enough as far as playmaking and general firepower to keep up with this Vitality side. Like, Wonderful hasn't magically become Zaiwu. Imma's still Imma. Bit's still a bit inconsistent. Like, he's never hit the true ceiling that he has. And even if we theorize every single one of them playing at their very best, that means they're now basically at the table with Vitality. They're not actually just better than them. Because Vitality, It's not like they're peaking every event. They just are as a team that good. I do think it's a pretty dire outlook. There are some conditions that could be fulfilled. It feels really hard to sort of truly endorse them as realistic. It feels like the rest of the season is theirs. The major is theirs. Just need to be played. They just need to be played. Until they're played, technically, we never know, but they just need to be played.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm in this weird position where I kind of feel like Spirit are the ones who maybe could do it, just because they just have that donk thing. Like, everyone looks kind of shit compared to Vitality as a team, but Spirit have donk. They're the only ones who have donk. So in that way, it's like nobody else really holds a candle to that. So it's weird. Spirit, I do think, are weird. If I can talk about them briefly, they were missing Halley at this event.
I think we need to get into now just everyone else, and we'll start with the rapid recoveries, as I've called them. The teams who have, like, for the most part, like we saw this playoff bracket. If before you started this year, if you looked at this playoff bracket, went, why is this significant? And I'm going to tell you why. It's because for this year, we've barely seen a playoff bracket that looks like this, where the top teams from the last season, actually all come and make it to playoffs. Typically, we've been missing at least two of Falcons, Fury, and Mouse, and Spirit. Maybe at least three of would be more accurate. Like, it's been a very strange year, but this time, all those guys make it out, and they do look not all the way there, but at least closer to what they were last year. Is that positive? We'll start with Spirit. Like, how much do you think they actually seem to have gotten their shit together? Like, where are we at? Are they back to being a base level where they were with Chopper? Like, have they actually returned to that level after their decision to make Magic's IGL?
I have a theory about them, because this was a relatively weak donk event. It was
just a bad donk event. Like, sure, we're talking about by donk standards, but a 122 with sub 0.8 KPR is just like, it's just one of the worst things he's ever done as a full pro, like as a like non-academy player. Like, it's genuinely surprising.
Yeah, and also the semi and the final, he's just not really quite there. Even in the semi where they kind of blow out Falcons, it's still like, I mean, sure, Magic's kind of Magic's like he did in Shanghai. But like Tenier looked better in both of those games, I think. Maybe not in the final, of course, but yeah, anyway. Tenier had his ups. Tenier actually looked pretty good in this event. And I'm reading through Magic's interview yesterday on the train, and I was like, huh. So he's talking about the prep work and what they're actually missing when Halli's gone. And he says that the prep now takes like hours because Magix was doing none of the prep before. Since he was the caller, he like a new caller. Halli has been doing all the prep alone. And Sotvik, the guy they have standing in, also just hates the prep. So the prep takes a long time and they do less of it. And I'm wondering if I have an explanation for Spirit. The lack of prep means that they're playing looser. They're playing slightly more of a vibes. They're playing slightly simpler, perhaps. And that's allowing all of the other players to perform slightly better than they have done in the past, or have done in recent history. Not Shiro, but Tenier and Magix himself also had good stat lines compared to their own standards. But the prep is there to set up Donk. And he's not getting set up in these games as much. And that's why he's kind of flopping. That's just the theory. A game theory. But
Coming.
Dude, I was like, okay.
The exact like rhythm you're saying it, and I was like, I can hear him fucking saying.
Dude, this is
he's just gonna go there.
Why I was on a train yesterday is because I was at a concert and they had the same thing where like every time they said tonight we steal the moon, they just went to that as like a soundbite, a sleeper agent activation phrase. That's from Despicable Me, you unk. But yeah,
I know where it's from.
Yeah, all right. Anyway,
I have younger relatives.
But yeah, anyway, that's just a theory. I don't know. I couldn't watch the final. So I might watch the highlights actually to try to figure out if I can find that out. But maybe they're not throwing themselves into duels as much, hoping for Donk to refrag, or not throwing as many flashbangs for him into angles, or whatever. And instead, Tenier is getting at least getting to play a little bit more of his own vibes. Magix gets to play a little bit more of his own feeling and his own vibes, and that's to Donk's and Shiro's detriment. Perhaps it seems that Halli being gone has had an effect, one way or another. Whether it's good, it was good for this event in terms of placing. They haven't really made a placing this good in a while. Was it good for the team? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not overall. When Donk gets one of his lowest ratings of the year, then it's probably not good. But it's it probably has its ups and downs. So maybe Halli is once again being questioned for Spirit, and even in his absence.
Yeah, Halli fraud. It's been a topic.
Yep.
I've heard people speculate in that direction. I wouldn't look. I'm more on the side of just maybe Donk played poorly, because I watched not every single second of Donk at this event, but I watched a good amount. The T sides went as expected.
Yeah.
The T side is surely where you prep heavier.
Yep.
Whereas for the CT side, where he kind of flopped, and especially like, I feel like the grand final was an especially poor CT side thing for him. Let me check. How do the numbers look? Yeah, he's 20 and 25 and a 0.68 rating. Like, he's genuinely horrible on the CT side. And it feels like he just didn't have a good event. Like, he didn't feel in tune, because I feel like the CT side, they were more... The CT sides are generally a bit more vibe, a bit more, what everyone's feeling, how the comms are being reacted to, like what you're hearing and seeing, like how you interpret them. Like, especially as a guy in a rotator position. Yeah, I think I do feel like it's more just he didn't have his best sort of feel for the game. I think there may be some aspect of this they can learn from, like the way you talk about how with less prep we get an unlocking of Tenier and Magix, and maybe it is just a realization for them as a squad that actually, Halli, time out, slow down on this stuff. We feel the game a lot better, and we're more comfortable doing things that are positive if there's a little less set about the way we're doing things. If we're not just trying to play into an ante, if we're not just trying to go hard setup, and I know that's what Halley's kind of been successful with historically. Back when Spirit were an underdog team, a nobody team, then in the Donk era, he has won every prestige event with them. Like, it's not nothing. It's just maybe they've now understood something about themselves. Like, they shouldn't be as prep dominant. They should be a little looser, and especially with a younger, fresher IGL. Maybe generally having more voices and more things just thrown into the pot will end up being better. Like, rather than strictly adhering to a set game plan, allowing Magics to improvise, like lean on Tanir, be like, what are you feeling? Like, because Tanir is a player who's been in looser teams, been very successful in those looser teams, kind of playing off his own read and his own vibe. That's something they could take a lot away from and get better. And end up in a better place, especially if you imagine this sort of event they just played where Tanir's feeling it, Magic's feeling it, then Donk's playing something approaching his best CS. It does feel like that best of 5 grand final isn't a 3-0. If he's playing a Mirage CT side worthy of his name, it feels like that's a team that wins that map, let alone gets dog walked 3-0. So, yeah, I think there are some positive takeaways for them. The other teams who have had these sort of very rapid turnarounds, of best events, technically in, well, probably mostly the year for these teams. Falcons, they've made a grand final before, but that was with a stand-in. They now make a top 4 with a dead team. So I think they make technically third, but who gives a crap about the side game? Falcons. Is there anything to take away from this other than clearly m0NESY is still fucking amazing? Is there anything else to really take away from this run of theirs?
Nah, I guess what they can take away is they can do it. Like, they can beat Vitality, even if it is a seeding game, even if it is whatever. Vitality still care about that. They, as much as they say in interviews that, like, well, it's not our main thing, they also always say that, like, yeah, it's we do care about these records. We want to be the best of all time. We do care about all these, and that's a streak ender. Like, as much as that is a seeding game, which didn't matter, it still made them play another playoff game, and it still ended their match winning streak at 18. I think it ended at like 18 straight best of threes.
I'm trying to see if there's a news thing where I can see the actual, if that is the case.
I think it was 18. The maps were 24. Maps were 24 before they lost to G2. But anyway, what they can take away, I guess, is like, yes, you can beat Vitality in a game. You can do it. Not many have done it. Falcons have done it with m0NESY, mostly with m0NESY. I can't really say much for any of the other ones.
Yeah, it was 18,
yeah. No, but yeah, that's Vitality's second match loss of the year. And do you know who beat them the only other time?
Well, it was at Blast, right? And it was, I actually can't remember if they lost to Paravision or Falcons.
Falcons.
It was Falcons.
The final. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was the final?
So it was Falcons Paravision was the final, so it was a semi. Yeah. Falcons made the final by beating Vitality with the stand-in, which in hindsight is fucking insane. Like, they beat Vitality with Nucleons, and now they did it with a dead Kixan. So
yeah, are these really nerfs,
buried, though? Forgotten about. Yeah. so honestly, yeah, I can't. I didn't really think about it until now that I actually looked this up. But when I see people say that, like Kerrigan-led Falcons is the only hope of Vitality not winning the major, I'm kind of like, I kind of see it. They are the only ones who.
I mean, we still obviously we've talked about how Spirit can definitely pose a threat. They still have Donk. That's a pretty big factor. It is real, not that unreal to say Falcons play spoiler. Like, that's realistic.
Yeah.
Given the fact that they just do with Vitality this year. They've beaten them twice, both times huge asterisk. But we are adding in the biggest asterisk of them all. It is Kerrigan at a major. That is the asterisk. Like, that's just how it works. Kerrigan-led team at the major, post fucking TSM, post phase, post that era of him. It is a pretty big asterisk. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be a little bit, but I wouldn't be entirely, and that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, they're a big team, that big turnaround. Furia as well, in their group beating, sure, Passion UA, but then Na'Vi and Mouse to get top 4 seeding. Pretty impressive run relative to see them make top 4 at least, and then put up a game against Vitality. Have you got some belief spurred on by this? Now, does this inspire something in you that Fury are at least no longer going to be outside of top 5 conversations?
Yeah, I feel like when Molodoi drops a .56 and you still win 20 rounds against Vitality in 2 maps, then that's at least
yeah.
That should be inspiring. Yeah, it should be in a very depressing way, where like, okay, so what if Molodoi just got a couple of more frags? But no, it's
if Molodoi hits
bad.
something,
he just did a little bit more, Molodoi. Maybe it would have been overtime. Maybe it would have been a map win. But anyway, no, that is inspiring, to be honest. I think Fury are by no means like dead. They have been a little bit here and there recently, of course, in 2026.
It felt like they've been dying in 2026. Like they made
second
at Krakow, then they don't make a top 4 at least. Maybe they make a 4th place. Well, they make a 4th place at Rio, but like they don't make another significant finish happen until Rio, where they make top 4. But of course, because there's a 3rd, 4th decider, HLTV now doesn't show 3rd, 4th. It just shows nothing, which does annoy me a bit. And I'm trying to just quickly skim through a team's history, and I just see nothing, despite the fact they actually did make top 4. Yeah, I shake my fist at ye, HLTV.
Yeah, Krakow Grand Final, early playoff exit, playoff miss, and then now Rio top 4. So, yeah, it's a nice bounce back. They're not dead by no means. I think the players who played well as well, it is kind of that thing where like Molodoi drops a .93 across the entire event and you still make top 4. That's actually not bad. Keisaratu, hey, you can actually win games as well. It's not just Molodoi who wins these games. You're really doing pretty well. It's like, yeah. Let's do more of this. Let's do more of this, Furia. Let's do more.
Yeah, Furia, a bit better. The final one, the one that was looking like a team that was headed for calamity, but kind of avoided it here with a bit of a layup in groups. I mean, the team they had to beat to make playoffs was Aurora, which is not an insignificant matchup. Like, they're not a genuinely trash team. I mean, Aurora have been somewhat exciting recently. But yeah, Mouse, they do make playoffs at least, returning to, the bare minimum, as we used to call it. They do get utterly smashed by Spirit, so it still is like, I come out of that game still feeling like that was a bit of a disaster. Like, as much as it's better than missing playoffs, like it is just better than missing playoffs, none of the wins were inspiring, and the loss to Spirit was devastating. So the fact that we then follow up with finally the changes that I called for after the last shitty event, it took 2 shitty events for them to be fully official, but yeah, here we go. This Mouse team has finally been, I don't know, aborted, I guess the best way to put it. Like, they've finally been ended.
Yeah. And that kind of puts their achievement here in Rio into whatever. Like, their achievement of making the fucking quarters to be battered by Spirit. It's kind of like, now they're starting from fresh anyway with a new in-game leader who also picks up the role for the first time in his career. And a player who has touched Tier 1 only once as a stand-in this very team over a year ago. With now actually a big amount of pressure on him. And with a player who hasn't played competitively aside from a brief stand-in stint earlier this year for 12 months. Slightly less. But yeah, it's kind of like whatever the hell they did here at Rio doesn't matter anymore because they're starting fresh in so many ways that we're going to see a new Mouse heading into Cologne. And we will talk about a little bit later, I think. So we'll get
into the ins and outs of it. But let's quickly close up our Rio talk with their heads hanging. Like, some teams came out of this event straight up. There's no real positives. Just what did we do in here? For me, a big one, though there are lesser teams, we're not going to dedicate too much time to them, is Legacy. Like, Legacy and Passion UA going straight home just feels a bit iffy to me. Like, I'm just like, the teams that you guys lose to as well, you've got to do better at some point, especially Legacy. But Passion UA, you've got to beat them. You've got to beat a bait at some point. Quack.
Passion UA had Fang instead of Senzu.
That is true. I did forget about that. He did drop a 124 against Bait, so...
Yeah, but he dropped a fucking .59 against Furia.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's not the game you're supposed to win.
That's true. This is true.
You're supposed to be able to beat Bait. And
Senzu walks over Bait 100%.
Dream. That's a nice thing to speculate and dream about, but when Try is the only other guy who can even maintain a 1.0 flat against Bait, and Kvem does that thing where he alternates violently between I could play at this level and I do not belong in smelling distance of this event. Like, we do have some concerns that need to be addressed that aren't just, we had a stand-in. But yeah, no. Legacy getting 2-0 by Hotu is just kind of like... Man. You guys, you got to stop stop making me hopeful, man. Just stop making me hopeful. So many times it's like, Legacy, yeah, this could work, finally. Oh, we've seen a return to form from Lato, and yeah, they could be a threat again. Get 2-0 by Hotu. No, just no.
Nope.
Oh, you guys should be ashamed as you walk out the event. Another one that they're going to be disappointed. It comes down to a tough matchup that they're not necessarily favored in. Aurora and G2, I guess both of them fit under that category. They're not favored in the matchups they have in the decider games. Aurora's the much closer one because they're playing a Na'Vi side. They kind of, it's not that they have their number. It's just that that's two sides that have a game. There's something there. They've familiarity, and I don't like the Xantares slander that's become very mainstream. That's the kind of game that's going to keep that shit hot, though.
Yeah. His only really good game this entire event was the one against Bait. Yeah. The Mouse game was abysmal. The Hotu game was a bit of a layup that he was third on his team. And then the Na'Vi game was he was sub 1. Yeah.
In all three maps, I believe. No, actually, no. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I forgot about this. He did kind of go nuts on Inferno. They lost 13-4, and he went nuts on the map and dropped a 153.
Well and good.
This will be forgotten in the anti-Xantares propaganda forums.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
It was forgotten by me. I just assumed he was shit all three maps. I couldn't remember the first map.
Very top-heavy event this, where I feel like we had our 8 teams, 4 in each group, who could make playoffs, and the only one could or should make playoffs. But then the rest were kind of like, no, of course not. 8, Hotu, Legacy, Passion, none of them will make playoffs, of course. It was kind of just a battle for the lower bracket, I suppose.
If we add the double swing context to this, there were 8 favorites and 8 underdogs at this event. 6 of the 8 favorites made playoffs.
Yes.
And
the other two were a game off.
Yeah, there was no real contest about it. They should have been, if this was a better formatted event, they should have all been in playoffs. It should have been 8 favorites in playoffs,
Yeah.
But instead, 6 of them. And the underdogs, some of them tried. The others just were liquid.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
I'll give a slight bit of flowers to Red Canids because they actually did pretty good. They took a map of a spirit. I'll give a slight bit of shit to Gentlemates because at this point you should have probably been a little bit better than losing 2-1 to Red Canids in the elimination game. I'll give a lot of shit, as always, to Liquid for being shit. Bad, and yes. I'll give a slight bit of shit to 3D Max because you took 7 rounds against an IGL-less G2, which is...
I mean, it's not exactly a downgrade.
It's true.
With a slightly different non-IGL in that chat.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I'll just a tiny bit, like a tiny crumb of feces towards 3D Max.
One little rabbit poo, just like there you go.
A little dingleberry, just for you, because you couldn't win more than a single round on Dust 2 against the G2 with no in-game leader. You let Sun Pius call around himself to a 20-3 scoreline on Dust 2. I mean, Jesus fuck.
Sun Pius, he's learned from the best. He's just like, what would Snappy tell me? Just erases all of his experience on G2. Just like, what would Snappy have told me? Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, that's not how Spanish people speak, but all right.
No, he's channeling Snappy.
Oh, he's Snappy. Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
He looks into his mind, Snappy. Yeah,
Whatever. This is getting messy.
this is
But speaking of messy, let's talk about
Argentina.
Shut up. A pretty ugly topic. One that you are a big fan of, Quack. It's time for Hock of the Week. This is your home segment, and you didn't change what I put in the notes, so I assume that's what we're doing. That guy who slapped that guy.
Yeah, the cock this week is huge. So this is obviously the segment where I show you Cock of the Week, and Kingt gets to rate it. And that's also one of the member perks as well. Cock ratings. No, okay, but this was a LAN. I'll tell you the story as written by my good colleagues at Fragbite, who actually bothered to look up the context instead of just seeing the clip on Twitter and going, haha! But, yeah. Anyway, this was the.
It was a pretty funny clip. Like, it's
a very funny clip.
You're like, I didn't even watch it with sound the first time because I just saw a random thing. It's just a guy with a mic. Then teams are walking out like, so what's the big deal? And then just a guy just gets bitch slapped.
Yeah, like actually,
just his cartoonishly, like his glasses get knocked for 6.
Like,
and then everyone's just stand there. And the player who got slapped is like,
yeah, the announcer just.
Like, it just looks like it came out of, like, you know, dropped out of the sky, just randomly gets slapped, like, for no reason.
Yeah.
So, Quack, please tell me, what is the context for that man getting slapped? Is there any redeeming factors?
This was the Cactus Leipzig LAN party.
Why are you trying to say cactus? What?
Because it's Cactus with 2 G's.
Oh. Ew, I didn't know that.
This was named by a millennial, probably. The 30. I'm just reading word for word what my colleagues wrote. The 31-year-old streamer and Counter-Strike player Mao Xin, a distant relative of Mao Snake, walked up to his opponent Spider Gum. I actually recognized him. I don't know why, but I recognize Spider Gum, and slapped him in the middle of the prize ceremony for the CS tournament. Supposedly, he got angry during the final. Because he was trash talked by Spider Gum during the game, which is like, once again, I always find it so funny when pro players let trash talk get to them, like how pro players will get so pressed about like shooting bodies or something. But I guess that's just high stakes adrenaline, whatever. Yeah, he was banned for 10 years from the Dutch league, which is
we do just have the most ridiculously disproportionate fucking banning system. It's like, well, we can't catch anyone for anything, so then the second we do, like, fuck, kill him. Like, it's just completely disproportionate. Like, in football, you can basically kill a man and get a 3-week ban, but in CS, one slap, you're gone for 10 years.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Yeah. But no, this is from the Dutch league, which basically means that he can't play German CS for 10 years. And also Fragster, another TO, echoed the ban. So yes, he can't play German CS for 10 years. In 2036, Mao Xin will be 41 years old and he will be welcomed back into German Counter-Strike. They've also passed all the info to ESIC for review, so probably in 2036 he will be slapped with a further 2-year ban. When they finish their investigation.
What's the ESIC investigation going to come back with? Like, I'm sorry, what do you expect them to do about this? Like,
I mean, look,
we saw the guy slap the guy. What investigation do we need? Oh, why? It serves no use. Like, unless they're going to come back and be like, guys, maybe 10 years was a bit ridiculous. Like, unless that's all that's going to happen, like, why is it being referred to ESIC on this?
I mean, yeah, probably ESIC are going to come back and say something like, oh, yeah, you can't play for another 6 months, but like, this is a streamer. I don't think Mao Xin is ever playing anything that ESIC will even know exists. So yeah, anyway, it could also be it could also be reported to the police and he might get a fine. There's hella evidence against him for
it's a pretty cut and dry case, but it's one of those cases where it's like, he said this and I was mad and I'm sorry, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe at worst you go to prison for a few months. Like, it's not,
maybe at worst you pay the other guy's court fines, like court fees, like
something like that. Like, it's not, again, it's not, he's not taking a bat to the cunt's head. Like, it's not that extreme.
I saw somebody post, somebody who's obviously German, and said like, yeah, there's these 3 counts which he could get, done in on, but that's like a couple of fines, whatever, like a couple of thousand or whatever. At most.
Yeah.
Anyway, final little funny note that I hadn't realized, but my colleague Sandström put in his article. Do you know what they were actually playing for? At the Cactus.
I assume some sort of domestic German cup. Like you mean like payout? Like what was?
Yeah, like what was on the line in this grand final?
I'd assume like the Lions' share of €2,000. You know.
See, go lower than that.
Oh God.
Actually,
to be fair,
you get three more
I
guesses.
did say €2,000 is like the total prize pool. I don't know like the exact share.
No, go lower. Go lower.
Oh God, 1,000?
Lower.
500?
Lower.
Oh, fuck off. 0.
Tickets to next year's Cactus Land.
Oh, fucking
This is like going to the DreamHack Biok, and you get so pressed in the final that you assault a guy, and what you were playing for is to go to the next DreamHack.
Look, I'm not one for, competition. You should always be, if you're a competitive person, you're always trying your hardest. It doesn't matter that relative to the major, it's a nothing tournament. Yada, yada. But that's funny. I can't lie. It's a bit funny.
It's way too funny. But yeah, that's the story. And that is why Mao Sheen, which is just Maui Snake plus Machine, the ungodly love child between those two talent members, I have just realized, is cock of the week. What would you rate this cock?
It's a pretty. It's one of those where it's like it's a strong. You know actually what it is?
Yeah,
it's a micro penis.
It's true. yes, it's true.
But the funny thing is I've just now stuck in my head is what the love child of Maui, Snake, and Machine would be. I'm just like, well, he's like, for starters, he's certainly not playing in the NBA, but probably a good-looking fella. Like,
probably a good-looking fella, yeah, to be honest.
Like,
they should get on that.
Too. Like, figure out a way. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know Machine's situation, but I know there's someone on Maui Snake's side of things who's not going to be very happy about that. But still, get to it.
The scientists of this world need to get on this right now.
We need to know. We
need to know.
Like the next time we have like some cloning situation, like Dolly the sheep, we need to figure out if we can use those two guys' DNA, make a weird hybrid clone of them. It may be like the least humane thing to have happened ever, but still, it must be done.
Yeah. But yeah, right. That's cock of the week.
Cock of the week. Yeah, small, unintimidating, but very expressive one. Let's get into the Retake Games. Quack, I'm going to let you lead off this week, because firstly, you've actually got a game for once, which is incredible, incredible work. And you've told me it's a draft, but I don't know any more than that. So, Quack, what are we doing?
Yes, it is a hobby draft. No, it's a draft of, in honor of Fallen's retirement and in honor of Kerrigan making big money moves, eventually leading to retirement. We are going to do a draft of uncles. So you and I are going to draft a team each with no conditions whatsoever, except for every player we pick has to be older than 30, 31 or above.
So we're not sticking to roles?
You stick to roles.
Okay.
I feel like when we're talking 30-year-olds, everybody who we're going to pick here has played enough roles to be flexible. Like Kerrigan has opted, Fallen has opted. But we're drafting unks. The players we pick have to be above 31 or above. So
okay,
best of luck to you, Mr. T.
Okay, can I use a cheat sheet? Because I'm not going to know everyone who's 30.
Yes. I will be using a cheat sheet, which I can actually send to you. It's just a stats page with a minimum age filter.
Oh no, I've already done the exact same thing. It's fine.
Very nice.
Okay. Well, are we snake drafting or are we 1-1-1?
I think snake draft. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first. Fuck it. And I think I will take the best player available. Straight up. Like I don't think there's a better player available. I'm going to take Xantares.
Is he 31? I thought he was only 30.
Oh wait, do they have to be over 30?
Yes, over 30. I did say over 30 in the introduction.
Yeah, but someone who's 30 in 2 months is over 30. So
Oh,
31 and older. Okay, so
31
no
and
longer
older.
is Antares the best player available for he is no longer
I think
available.
actually that makes it that I'm looking at my stats sheet and that makes it so much more difficult, I think.
God damn. Okay, if I have to go 31 and above, oh lord. It's not exactly a paradise for fraggers.
Yeah, wow, a lot of players are up. But that's what makes this fun.
All right, give me Apex.
Really good call.
Yeah. And I'm not going to
Really
fill
good
in his
idea.
role yet because I may have to switch him.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm looking around here, right, and we have some old legends. We have the Forest. We have the Guardians of the World. I'm gonna flip this rating filter to go the opposite way though, because I want to see who I can. Well, I'm maybe that is just the end where it makes the most sense to start in the probable in-game leader end. I'm just gonna go to Carrion. And for my second pick, I think that would be. Now is where I have to go skill. There's some interesting ones where like I could make an argument for like a Kaze who tops the rating sheet at this age. I could make an argument for like, yeah, obviously has the skill. But I'll probably go to Cold Zera, actually.
Okay.
Put him in.
All right. I'm not sure why you were ever looking at Kaze. I mean, he's even active this year. Like,
no, I'm just saying that like he's obviously a skilled player.
all right. As usual, Quack's fumbled. Give me Oscar.
Yeah, sure.
And give me Hobbit. I feel like 31-year-old one-win Hobbit is actively just better than everyone else you could ever imagine. He's dropping at 120
there.
Like,
yeah, you have a great point there. All right. Damn, that's actually good. That's really good. Oh, but that's also good. Give me. Yeah, I've got two here, and I think both of them are good. Give me Jacob out of Gambling Addict Rehab. Always said he was so good for his age, and yeah, that's there we are. And give me Twist out of Alliance, because that man can still frag.
Okay. If you want to believe, I'll let you believe. I'm going to close mine out. I've got 2 spots to fill. I could do with another good rifler, and I could do with another like smarter rifler. All right, give me Glowing. I'm going to take a player who's actually competing against real teams and isn't just an IGL pretending to still be relevant. A guy who still frags. And then my final slot, this is where things get ugly. Like I could go like for like a Lecro, like a bit of a veteran, still has a bit of skill, a Crims if I'm desperately clinging on to his abilities. But I don't know if I want... Like, MBK has played a fair few maps for Gen 1 this year, and he's a legend. I'm not sure I like any of these options, really. So I'm not going to go with them. Yeah. I could go proper balls to the wall fragging because a Dexter pick could still be there. But nah, screw it. Okay, I'm going to go with my first instinct. I'm going to take Lecro to finish off my squad. Round it out a bit with a bit of a utility, supportive rifler. A guy who can do a lot of different things. I think my team's pretty well rounded.
Yep. See, unless I want to go to like a Twist op or a Cold Zera op. Cold Zera op wouldn't be the worst thing. There's fun rifles I could have here. No, but there's that's serviceable. There's fun guys I could get in there. Like I could get like a Rallen in, who's like a good warrior, like a filler player. I could have a Rain. I could have a Jax. I could have like another kind of filler player. I could have Roy, which is a funny one.
In 2026.
2026 Roy, retired to be an agent. No, but I am just looking at it's a hard pressed to find operas. Like the top rated operas, it is literally, aside from Oscar, it's Pone alone and it's Kaze in CS2 above at 31 or above, and then it's Alu. And I don't hate Alu. Pone alone would not. Pone alone wouldn't fuck in Europe, so I'm probably gonna have to go. Maybe he would. Or maybe he would. JW is there as well, just for that X factor. But I just know there's gonna be the down maps. Or I just go to twist off and I go for a crazy rifle. No, let me pick up. Let me pick up Alu. Let me pick up Alu. And I've actually built a team that I think would be an amazing face squad in 2018.
Yeah, that's what you've done. You've selected some players that aren't even playing. Like,
no. Yeah. I think only 2 of mine.
insane.
3 of mine are playing. Yeah. Yeah.
So Quack, you have selected Carrigan, Cold Zero, Jacob, Twist, and Alu. I have selected Apex, Oscar, Hobbit, Glowing, Lecro. It's a wash as usual. I'll start the poll. Who won the Unk draft? Let us know your thoughts. God damn.
Oh, I could have gone to Ricky, I just realized.
Yeah, once you let me get Oscar, I thought it's just over. I'm not gonna be mincing my words. Like I've got a better IGL. Like my IGL frag's better than half your riflers. Like I'm good.
No, come on, Jacob clears.
No, just not true.
Yes, and Cold Zero's pretty good. And
also, not true.
Twist on a good day. Did you see Twist last year? Like Twist in 2025? Insane.
He was sometimes okay. He's your best rifler.
I didn't really go through the roles. We didn't really do the roles, but they're kind of implied. But I could technically do Kerrigan, Op, Twist, IGL, Alu rifle.
Even worse. Like there's no good option.
All of those roles have happened in the past.
Still terrible, just because it has been done. You know what else has been tried? Serfdom and slavery. Just because it has been done doesn't mean it's great. Look, for me, I've got Apex as my IGL, Oscar as my AWP, Hobbit as my star luck, I guess, or half luck. Glowing's my hard opener, and Lecro as my support and fill. Like my roles make sense, my fragging makes sense. I'm just happy. Like I know I
think you can be happy. I've just gone for Kerrigan as the caller. Old Zera probably ends up being the lurk, and Twist the filler, Jacob the opener, and Alu the opper. Yeah. I'm honestly not unhappy with that. Like Twist carries that team a lot, I think, if they were to actually play now, along with Kerrigan's calling.
That's horrifying, because that's your best player is currently an IGL.
Yeah. Amazing.
Horrendous.
No, I might concede this one after winning the last one,
which you lost again. But whatever.
But I did.
You lost the draft. You lost the vote on the draft. You just lost.
The people's vote will say that I won that. I definitely won that.
It literally didn't. It was on screen.
Yeah, like suddenly they just appeared. Suddenly you just found the votes. All right.
It's just how it works. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you.
Suddenly, at the last moment, you just found a couple of votes to win the last one. Yeah,
it's okay, Quack. Cry more. We now go into my game, and we are spinning the wheel of KPRs, and then we are going to be selecting players from Counter-Strike history, their full calendar years, to try and average that KPR. We've got 0.72 to target this week. 0.72 is the target. So we got another big fraggers number. So just to make this, I guess, interesting, obviously we can't repeat players. And I think, obviously between each other, we should also avoid repeating the same year within our own team. So can't select a player from the same year as another player. And obviously, once someone has selected a player, the other one cannot select them. Quack, I opened up the other draft. I'll let you go first here. We're not going to do this snake style. We're just going to alternate because it's not quite the same field. So yeah, who do you want?
I feel like a 0.7. That's still it's decently high. It's not insane. You'd be hard pressed to find too many players who have sat like above a 0.8 over a year's average. So
generally players don't go that high.
So I have quite a few to pick from here.
Yep.
I feel like I saw this player have this number in their top 20 stat thing, so I'm gonna go to 24 Imme. For some reason, that was the first player which popped into my mind.
Okay. Make note of it.
I think that might be pretty good. That might be pretty good, actually.
I'm going to go... I want to hit it on the money. It's just really hard to get it on the money, obviously. I'm going to try... The bad thing is it's blind, right? So at the end of it, we just find out like how incredibly wrong we were. I could keep it solid and just go for a play. I definitely know. Do I know someone who can balance that number, though? That's the other part. If I do know the number and it's not 7.72, do I know someone who's at the other side to keep it? Oh, it's difficult. You know what? I'm fairly certain this number's accurate. No, I'm not actually certain anymore. God damn, this is tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go under. I'm going to go just to get a number down. Torgy 24.
Oh, I feel like that's pretty good. You're fairly close.
I feel like my guess is a 0.7 flat. That's why I picked him.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is pretty good. Okay. Okay. Now that you've said that, I feel like I have seen some year Shiro had a 0.72. Some year. I'm gonna go... I can't go to 2024. Fuck, actually. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Nico is another one who I feel like has had that kind of year. I feel the only year that might have been is like 2019 when he was calling. And if I go with it, then that's a huge risk because that might be way below, way above. So I'm just not going to go there. I also don't want to go to any other like opener because a good opener ends up at like a 0.75 and a bad one ends up at a 0.65. It's difficult to find. So not like an Elige or not anyone like that. Oh, this is actually bad. This is awful. I have to pick somebody and I don't know who. Please. And I'm trying to talk my way through it. Let's go to Shiro and we'll do 2025. 2025 Shiro.
Right. Do you want me to tell you what Shiro 2025 is?
Yes.
It's I'm not actually going to tell you, so then you have the math, but it's quite a bit more than 0.72.
No.
Okay. I want someone who's in the 0.74 sort of slot. Do you know usually sits somewhere around there? Xantares. Got a feeling a Xantares year would be right here. So I'm going to go Xantares 23 and just pray.
Yeah, it's not bad. Now that you said that that's way above, I want to go to like a 0.69 is where I want to end up. And that might be... that might be... like a 2020... a 2023 Cadian, I think, might end up there.
Cadian 23. Okay.
Like, just he wasn't at his best, but he was up there still AWPing. I think he made top 20 that year.
That's the thing. It's hard as a full-time primary AWPer. It's hard to have like. I'm not saying it's like impossible that you'd have like genuinely dogshit fragging, but like,
yeah,
surely he'd be there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like we're getting quite boring. 2024, 2023, 2024. I'm going to go deep pull. That could be based on complete nothing. But I'm going to go exist 2013.
That's great.
That's
actually it.
That's a pull right there. If I'm on point with that, that's a pull. What are you looking up?
Yeah.
I see you checking your monitors. What's going on over there?
I'm looking up your pick right now, and I won't tell you what it was, but I was just interested to see. So now I'm back. I've rebalanced. I've got my swing back from Shiro.
Yeah.
And I've put my Cadian in. This screams. Yeah. Fuck it. We'll just do it. 2017 Res.
Res 2017. Okay.
Yeah, Oakland.
I don't hate it.
Oakland year Res. That's also a blind pick. I'm trying to match that. But I do think it's pretty good.
Blind. Mine's semi-informed, but I think your blind pick is pretty good. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty good pick. I'm going to go in a similar vein to my last pick. I think... Ooh. Would they be slightly high or slightly low? Right, I'm just going to go it. Magisk 2018. Screw it.
Yeah.
I feel like he might be a touch high, but I also feel like it could be anywhere from 0.71 to 0.75 with a Magisk from that year. Maybe not 75, but yeah.
No, yeah, because he was he's an anchor basically, but he was still 7th that year. Yeah, I feel like that could be a
I know
0.72.
pretty much the fact everyone but ZipX was at least a 0.7, but I'm not sure that's actually correct. Like that's my brain has told me that, but I'm not sure that's right.
Yeah. I think this one, my final pick, might be bang on the money.
Right.
Because he would. I want to go to a 2019 mouse player because that's a lineup I know.
Okay.
My gut tells me that Rops might be slightly too high. So then I was like Frozen because he wasn't that good yet. But then again, Frozen now actually doesn't have that high of a KPR either because he is still a little bit of a baiting cunt. No, we'll go to 2019 Frozen, and I think that will be perfect. And that's mine.
19.
That's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if anyone was paying attention, you'll have realized that I have a near perfect role balance as well as selecting players from over a decade apart. With Torchi on my AWPs, Antares as my opener, Exist as my IGL, and Magisk as my anchor/pack rifler. I need another anchor and a hard lurk, so a Rops would be great here, and Rops has not been taken. So if I can get a Rops here that hits, that'll be perfect. I'm going to try... I can't do 18 again, which is the one complaint I have of making a Rops pick here. But I think Rops pre-Vitality got into such an aggressively, like, hard baity style. And so I want to say... Oh, no, Rops pre-Phase, not pre-Vitality. And I think he joins Phase in 2021? But this is the problem. I'm not a great historian, so I'm fucking struggling. So I'm gonna just... Okay, maybe my history's let me down, but I'm going to go Rops 20. Rops 2020.
20 is so hard. It's on
Let me see. All right. Quick, let's each add up our own ones. And then we'll see if we trust each other to have not been lying. All right. I will announce mine as I do them. Torchi 2024. Let me see. Torchi 2024 was a 0.72. Oh, I should have given the boy some credit. I forgot that we're not doing big event filters. Santares 2023. Please, please, please don't have been... I might be high already. If Torchi's high,
holy shit,
going to be high. Oh my god, Santares is 0.79.
Oh,
fuck, I'm so high.
Yeah, that's what Shiro was as well. I need Cadium to have been real shit. Yes, he was.
He was. I was kind of mad. I was kind of mad that I gave you that info. To be honest, I don't know why I did that.
No, it's fine. Because I thought you meant like, oh, he's a 0.75.
No. He's like 0.78 in my head.
I can tell you, Rez was a 0.71. That's almost perfect.
Yeah, I knew.
Now,
oh crap! Exist. Why are you so good? 0.75. I'm so cooked.
Oh,
I've got no one who's bad enough.
Frozen's a 0.74, but I was also 2 below 1 Imme, so I think I might have a shot here.
Yeah, I knew your Imme pick was low. That's the problem.
I've done my math. I'm gonna let you finish yours before I
was right on with Magisk. He was 0.72. And Rops 20, I need to be around the same. Please be around the same. Rops 2020. Oh, fuck off! Why did you have to be good that year? 0.78. I'm cooked. You've won. You've won this KPR thing. There's no chance. I've got only one number that's... I've got 0 numbers below the target. Like, I'm just cooked.
Yeah, I can also tell you I have one. I got a 0.72.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, really overcooked a couple of these because when I remember numbers for these things, it's primarily from the HLTV end of year top 20 sheets.
Yes,
like I know those fairly well, and that's the number I have in my head for a guy like Torchi in 2024, for a guy like Santares in 2023. Who, if I go back to that page, if I put on like a big event filter, is his KPR just going to plummet? There's a good chance it does. 2023 MVP events, it goes down to a 0.75. Yeah, you see? Yeah, I've let myself down. I've let my family down. I've let the people down. They've elected me their winner. which is unsurprising considering how cooked you got in that draft. But in this one, yeah, I was way too high.
Tit for tat.
Again,
pretty good. Yeah,
just because I know good players. Problem. Just
yeah. I mean,
too in tune with quality.
Emma was I was slightly below, and then Shiro was.
Is he 0.7 flat or 0.69 that year?
0.7 flat that year.
Yeah, Emma. That's what I thought. When you picked him, I was like, and you thought he was on point. I was like, oh, okay, that's actually a bit off. And Shiro, yeah, his brain is a bit off, but he's not actually fucked as bad as he thinks.
Does Shiro have a year which is as like
no? It's like worst KPI is like 0.75. I bet. Like he gets a lot of kills.
0.76 in 24. 0.78 even this year. Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, he frags. His total frags are high.
Cadian was way off, but that's great because Shiro was way off in the other direction. Rez was a 0.71, which is nigh on perfect.
I knew that was a good pick. And
then, yeah, because I felt like he has exactly that 1.08 rated consistency, which you expect from a 0.72 player. But and then Frozen 2019 was 2 above, which was just perfect. Put me back on track.
Yeah, I really got played by Xantares. Well, Xantares and Torgy, really. It's recoverable after that. Until you get to Rops, and then it's just completely fucked. Never mind.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what Rops year I was thinking of. It must be like one of the years where he finishes like 19th on HLTV ranking. Like 2024, he's 18th, but that's obviously not the right one. It might be is it 2021 where he's 18th? Yeah, it is. He's still got a 0.77. Fucking hell. 2024, he's got 0.72. Fuck.
Yeah, 24 would have been great.
I already had a 24 year though. So whatever, let's get into the rest of the show. We do have some pretty big topics still left to cover, as much as we like our little frolic into the games. Let's get into the segment that will endlessly recur. It's time for the Eternal Shuffle. Quack. For some reason, I think this one's going to be quite quiet. Am I wrong?
It's going to be a very long one. Mouse have made the biggest I would say the biggest profile moves of this week. Their in-game leader is benched. Well, I mean, in scope, and a combined ranking of the width of the changes and the notability of the team. Mouse, their in-game leader Brolan is going to be benched, or is benched, as is Jimpat. The day after Jimpat says in an interview, "I don't think we make any changes before Cologne." Awful for him. Anyway, they've promoted Xalex from Mouse NXT, which is not a bad move. They've got JL in on a loan for 2 events as effectively the Jimmy replacement. I have a theory about why they've done that exactly. But I'll get to that in a minute. Further context before your rating: Brawlan will be back for Cologne, not as a caller, because Zershan will be calling even in Cologne. They need to do that. They can only make 1 change before the actual major.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of it, but it's just how it works. I've talked a lot about Mouse moves, obviously, as has everyone who's on a podcast and who has the audacity to talk about Counter-Strike. You have been talking about Mouse moves for the last year almost. Like, it feels like it's been a long time that people have been suggesting moves, that people have been tired of them being consistently excellent. I was the only person who jumped on that train at the correct moment, which is when they stopped being excellent, and I was quite literally spot on, as the next event they also played utter shit. But there's been 2 moves that I've considered realistic and not stupid. Those 2 moves, one of them is of my own belief. Like, I didn't get inspired by anyone else to think this. It's just what I thought. The Xalex promotion. I thought of it in there's multiple ways you can see a Xalex promotion going well. It can be as a straight up, you promote him, give him some of his roles, figure out the balance again. But he's just talented and he succeeds and your team plays well. The other way it succeeds is if you bring him up, you give him all his roles as you tank the rest of the season, show him off as a great talent, sell him, and then use that money to rebuild. In any case, I thought Xalex promotion was realistic and viable. The other move that I kind of acknowledged as tolerable is JL, specifically coming in for... It depended. on who exactly you'd come in for. Like, you could come in for Jimmy, technically. Although I saw a more realistic move in him coming in for Brolan. And then you move the IGL over to Xertion, as they've ended up doing. But just, they haven't done the same cuts, it seems. What I think of them doing it both at the same time is, for fuck's sake. That's exactly what hits my head. Like, why did you have to do both? Why did you have to do both? Why did you have to bench Jimmy and bench Brolan? Like, why did you 2-for-1 it? Like, you didn't have to do both. You really didn't. You could have fucked around with it. Like, I don't know the behind the scenes. Maybe you did literally have to, but from everything I know, you don't have to. Now, I don't know a particularly large amount, but still, you didn't have to do this. You could have done one or the other. Like, yeah, I'm not an insider. Like, I don't know. Fuck all. But anyway, what we end up with is a very unproven caller who's vocal, but as I've pointed out 100 billion times, doesn't mean you're an IGL. But he does like to talk, which is like the bare minimum. And then you've got a weird rifle balance now where it's like Xertion's been your opener, like your clear opener for a while. He's now IGL and opener, maybe. Spinks has kind of been your star resource hog, stepping on Jim Fat's toes, letting him get cut. How does he adjust his game? Does he adjust his game to the promotion of Zelex, who is pretty much the same role, but on the academy? Like, he is the star. He does take openers that are very hard to set up. He does trade and close a lot because he's not really dying early very often. He does get to sort of dictate his own game. Like, he does play some spots that are a bit more active than you expect from Spinks, but still, there is a fair bit of overlap, at least stylistically and in terms of the resources they're going to want. So I do think the role fit is already weird. JL coming in to be the new Jimmy, at least, would be good. Like, that would just be good. As far as making those two riflers work, bring a guy in who's just going to be the hard support. Fine. You didn't completely cock it up. I still prefer the world where JL comes in for Brolan only, and he takes that sort of the roles that Brolan plays, maximize himself as a support, and then you maybe get a bit more out of a player like Jimmy, but whatever. They've given up on Jimmy, is what it is. Congratulations, Falcons, for signing Jimmy next season. Hope you enjoy the next 3 titles that Mouse have now handed to you. But I think they've just created an incredibly difficult puzzle. Fresh IGL, overlapping star riflers, a fresh support who's just not really been competing at a relevant level, and a team that's, obviously got its morale in the shitter after a pretty disappointing run. Yeah, this is going to take a while to untangle, and I think they've basically tanked the rest of this season. Like, this season has been written off. The major will not result in a top 4, which is the target. No. Like, obviously, winning is the goal, but like, we are happy with our season target is top 4 of the major. They're not making that, and they understand that. Like, they have scrapped that. Yes. I think that's the reality of making these moves and trying to figure a way out of them. Like, unless someone goes just stupid at the major, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's my takeaway. Grading, you get a B because you kind of had to make moves. You could have done better, though. As far as keeping it simple, you've really fucked it. Like, you haven't kept it simple at all, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So, I think they have probably written off the season. I think the reason why they're transitioning to search and calling now rather than after the Cologne major is because they want to have a little bit of run-in into the fall season and try to make a run for Singapore and, well, all the other events of the fall season. So they don't spend the first half of the 2026 fall season just trying to figure out how Xertion is a caller. That also gives them an opportunity. If Xertion turns out to be absolutely dog shit, you actually have the summer window to do something there as well. So I don't actually hate that in principle. Zelex promotion is nice, but that's also going to have to be given time. I think JL is here not to stay, because I think it would be dumb of them almost not to make the move that they didn't make last winter, which is after the major. They can't do it now because he's locked into another team's roster. But after the major, they use their buyback clause on PR to come in for Jimmy spots.
Terrible fucking idea. And as I've said a dozen times, every time it's been suggested, he doesn't play Jimmy's spots in the slightest. It makes no sense. It's simple
Right.
makes no sense. It's like, we have Spinks and Zelex. You know what? We need a third guy who's in the same mold and demands the same resources whilst also not being a support. Like, no, it's a terrible idea. I do not like that.
Right, yeah.
It's a great
Right, fair.
idea if you are fully tanking, rebuilding, selling Spinks for $500,000. Yes, call back PR at that point. But if you're not selling Spinks, no, that's a dreadful move.
I think they will do it though. I think they will buy back PR. I think why else would JL come in on like a loan for 2 months for 2 events, like just to play out the season? Why wouldn't they sign him on at least until the year's end or whatever, like on a loan?
Because, well, for a start, you don't know if he's good enough. You still have that off season to then look for other moves and make moves. If you don't like JL's fit in those 2 events you've played, you don't like maybe, you know, the way he wants to play, or he just doesn't prove to you he can shake off the rust and that he can't come back to level, then yeah, you can still look for another. Like, you're not locked into, like, they've promoted an academy kid, it's not permanent, and they've brought in JL, not permanent. Like, they've left the door wide open for this to not work and them to need to make drastic changes. I kind of understand that. Like, from that point of view, it's fine, and you still have the option at the end of that loan spell to be like, all right, JL, here's a contract. He could also have in that time sold himself to someone else and moves on, but you're not screwed. You weren't permanently tied to him. You're still going to be scouting, looking around the scene, trying to see what you can snipe or collect. I don't mind that part, and I don't think it's an indicator that they're going to go balls to the wall on some nutty idea like a PR signing would be. I think that's a pretty nutty idea.
They almost did it last winter. They almost
Yes, and they were at that time, as I said on this show and everywhere else, fucking insane for thinking about it.
I think they will do it. I think they, last time they opted to not do it for whatever reason, whether that was because Jimmy stayed and didn't go to Falcons, or whether it was because they wanted to keep him, or whether it was because PR was still too expensive or whatever the fuck, even with their buyback clause. But I think they will do it. I think that's a move which is going to happen. I mean, yeah, if it sucks, it sucks. But I'm saying it now. I'm putting it on the record. That's what I think is going to happen. Other than that, no, yeah, it's a good move. Xelex is, we'll see what happens with him. Desertion as a caller, we'll see what happens there. I'm pretty confident in that JL will at least perform. I think he looked I think he did all right when he played that little bit on Liquid, and I think he's kept up. I think he can do it. What happened, Kingt, what was that noise?
Fell off the desk.
Oh,
yeah, I have 2 little like photography lights on like the yay high stands that are just on the back of the desk behind the monitor, like reflecting their light off the wall, and one just fell off for no reason. Like, I didn't smash the desk or anything, it just fell off, so I had to go pick it up. It's not the first time that's happened on a podcast.
It was insulted by the idea of this mouse roster. As an affront
it is a red
God.
light, so it should take offense to terrible red ideas.
Yep.
As most red ideas tend to be. Anyway. Quack, what's next?
Next up, Kerrigan has actually joined Falcons.
What?
Was, yeah, a move we already kind of knew about. We've already talked about how we think that's going to shake out.
Yeah, should be. It can't be worse.
It can.
It can't. It just can't.
No, but like, I'll tell you, it can, because have you seen how shitty FaZe look recently as a team?
Yeah. Have you seen how stupid good Falcons are, despite a lack of any fucking strategy, in terms of their ability to win games? I'm not worried. Somehow this will work.
Oh yeah, I think it will work. It just, yeah, it can. It very well could also be a little bit worse. I think, you know, I'm. But anyway, they've committed to it, and it's going to be good. Do you think how long do you think Kerrigan stays on Falcons before he retires?
Depends on how well it goes. That's the thing. Yeah. If they spend, firstly, if they utterly crash and burn, like they go totally down the shitter when he joins, I'm not saying he retires after the Cologne Major, but there's a good chance he's shown the door that quickly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it goes super well, like as in they become a Vitality rival, it could go on for another 18 months. Like he could stick around for 18 months. So
fair.
It's highly, highly dependent on the success of the roster. Based on how good I think they'll be, I think he'll make it at least the end of 2026 before retiring.
Yeah, probably. Not in his stead, but actually, give me a grade. Kerrigan to Falcons. A?
I mean, I guess A. I guess it kind of has to be.
Yep. Not in his stead, but in phase. Anke J joins as coach. And a guy who I feel like, at least results-wise, has been failing upwards for quite some time now. But yeah, going from Sprout, where he did not a lot, to Big, where in 2022, where he did not a lot, to Entropic, who did not a lot and then disbanded, to Ens, who did nothing and then disbanded. And now he's on phase to finally disband this roster that I hate so much. I love them, to be honest, but they're too shit. His first order of business, the stand-in for the next event they are going to play, is at least reportedly going to be NATU, which is Fort Worth, Texas. The last event there.
Right. This is a weird set of moves.
Yep.
I did like, I'm not sure if this is in my Discord or somewhere else I saw this. Someone called this like a preemptive like acceptance, basically, of phase that they will be tier 2. That's why they sign on KJ.
Yep.
Yeah, when you described him as failing upwards, I was like, it's a bit harsh. Then I remembered, what has he done? Like I gave it some thought, and I was like, that's maybe not as harsh as initially anticipated. He hasn't exactly been prolific in terms of his coaching gigs, especially. I hope this is the exception to that. I hope this is the thing that justifies his signings. I hope this D doesn't become the next Peacemaker, king of the pitch. He can sell himself, but can't fix a team.
Yeah.
Would be good to see that. The Netu side of it, look, I've been waiting for a Netu trial or test or next step, whatever that might look like. Turns out it's playing on phase. It's going to be a difficult sort of period, I guess, to evaluate him. It's going to be like, how much of this is the general nonsense and mess and chaos that is phase, and how much of it is Netu's not ready for tier 1? It's almost going to be inextricable. So we'll see. Hopefully he shows off some of that aim. Hopefully he shows off why he should be on 3 max at least. And we get some positivity for him in general.
Yep.
But no, FaZe are giving up. So that's nice.
Yeah, as they should. They are dead, and they should kill this roster with hammers, as Bob Bobinski would have said. Also, teams that deserve to be killed with hammers, Gaming Gladiators, have not just benched, but ripped up Phelps's contract to kick him from the team. And they've signed 34-year-old Fur to play for them in the major in 2020.
What's going on with Phelps?
I don't know. Was he shit? I don't know.
He was
I don't
shit,
think I
but
ever
it's also
watched
like, I'm
the
just looking at his latest team photo, and I'm like, what's going on with him? Like, what's going on?
Is he okay?
Like, he genuinely looks like off, like overly, like he looks like he's on something. Like he's like not in that picture, but like he is now addicted to something. Like he just looks off. Like, especially when you compare him to just his last team photo, which is Red Canids. Like he just looks 10 years older, gaunt, pallid. Like he just looks off. Like maybe it's the terrible lighting on the photograph, but at the same time, someone check in on our boy Phelps. But yeah, it was coming. He had a massive dip in form post Red Canids when joining Gaming Gladiators. It was inevitable that he'd get cut. It's just, can we get a welfare check? Like he looks sick.
Yeah, it's weird. He called like he's obviously been playing here and there. There was a rumor that when they signed him, he gave up 4 months of salary for them to afford to sign him to the team, which is like a selfless thing to do for the team or whatever. And I saw a lot of people be like, "Oh," and then they treat him like this, and I was like, "Yeah, but he was kind of shit." But secondly, they also worded the announcement a bit weird because they gave no sort of indication as to what it was about. But they did say explicitly, he no longer represents Gaimin Gladiators in any capacity, which is such a strong wording that it feels like, oh, so you guys know that there's going to be some shit going down. Like, why would you word it like that unless you specifically wanted to make clear when the ESIC ban happens, we had nothing to do with it. Like, reading between the lines, but that's what we have to do when you give us no other indication as to why this move was made. Aside from a 0.94 rating or whatever it was. But yeah, that's the move.
Ignoring the 0.94 rating, yeah.
Ignoring being dog shit. Why would they kick this player?
Aside from the obvious. Yeah, it is a bit odd. But okay.
Speaking of why, Fur is here. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's not going to change their fortunes much, if I had to guess.
Fortunes. No, he hasn't played. He hasn't played in it's going to be almost 2 years since he played when he first sets foot on the server. No, actually, it's over 2 years. Last he played was in the beginning of 2024, an open qualifier for Oplano. Yeah, major hopes. Maybe back on with a 2-time major winner. Grade.
It's an ugly mess. I'll give it a D.
Yeah, 2 Brazils out of 5. NIP have cut Wrinkle and they've signed Stown, which gets less than 2 Brazils out of 5 from me, but they cut their inconsistent Hopper, who didn't improve over a period of 2 years whatsoever, and they signed Stown, possibly the most unpopular player in Counter-Strike history.
Yeah, that's not really a measure I use for evaluating moves, so I'm not going to be overly bothered about that.
No. This is decoration.
That's yes, I know, but just prefacing my statement. I've already come out in favor of this. It's quite clear and obvious. NIP and sick and tired of Mr. Talent hits nothing, does nothing, never gets better. And I've gone with Mr. Proven Entity, can play in Tier 1, worst case scenario, stick a rifle in his hands, and who gives a shit. A guy who's already second AWP'd a fair bit in Tier 1. I'm not saying he's going to be a great AWPer. I'm just 100% sure he's not going to be as big of a liability as Wrinkle.
Yep.
And that's why they've signed him. They've signed him to not be a liability. And that's not even factoring in the fact that in the 60% of rounds where he doesn't have a rifle, he's just going to be a better player. A more intelligent player, a more well-rounded player.
Yep.
Yeah, this for me is an A grade. Like, this is just an A grade. As much as it is a weird move, they haven't signed an AWPer to be their AWPer. Their AWPer was a problem. There's no, like, unless you decide to go for a different, young, unproven, needs to figure it out, raw talent, you kind of have to take this risk. And I think this is valid. So, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm being less cynical, it's not a horrible move. But I've worded it quite strongly in the TLDR. I wrote about it.
I didn't read that. So what is your take?
Fuck you. My take was, first of all, Wrinkle, it makes sense that they bench him. Like Maui 2 years ago said that one day he will be playing for the biggest trophies in the world. Which probably was true.
It felt like at the time. It wasn't a terrible take. Like,
yeah. The way he plays, you imagine that, okay, yeah, he's doing this shit in a couple of these rounds. If he goes consistent so he can actually do it game on game, then yeah, he's going to be playing for the biggest trophies in the world. Wrinkle is exactly the same player he was 2 years ago, even now, which is a problem with that line of reasoning. So that's what I said there. As I worded it, he still swings back and forth more than the wrecking ball to NIP Stockholm offices. As this is, of course, just the week after that. I also open it with, we recently got news that NIP are moving to a villainous, evil country that everyone despises. Denmark. Because they are obviously Danish flagging now. The title of the story is The Worst Thing That Has Ever Happened to Sweden. Thank you. Like, I don't know, NIP just fucking shat on us all. And we hate them now, even more than we already did. All of us of this great nation.
Which Christian?
Sweden.
Oh, okay, sure. Whatever. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Everyone says theirs is great. That's fair.
You learn. In time, you will learn.
Ooh, everyone be careful. The Swedes are talking shit. They might make a worse meatball. Oh no.
Yeah. Eat your Vigo burger. Ride your e-bike.
Never.
Yeah. No, it's. I hope the team dies, but that's for reasons unrelated of roster composition. Good luck's down. Hitting options.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grade this one. It's an F. BC Game have benched. Honestly, one player I didn't expect to get benched when this round of changes inevitably would happen. But Muteris and Aragorn are gone.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be crazy.
I mean, that's made more sense to me.
Yes.
The reason you signed the Portuguese core isn't just the VRS, it's also because you had a real IGL. Thought that would manifest. It instead has led to the biggest catastrophe in Simple's career that doesn't involve him on a live stream. So, or an ESL 1v1 server. So the part of this is interesting is apparently Electronic is not calling. Like, that's outright been stated. So who's coming in that's going to be calling for this team? That's where, like, so I can't really grade half a move. And that's a pretty big half to be missing, is who the hell are you signing to be your IGL of all things?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. When we talk about this, we often talk about it in the context of they will sign a core again. And they won't they won't go 2 for 2 and try to somehow grind their way back up, because that'd be kind of absurd. But they have. So, is there even a stand-in announced? Have I missed something?
Their registered substitute for the upcoming event in Atlanta is No Cries.
Yeah, that's something. It's not even the full story.
Simple. No, Simple said verbatim that he's not going to play. That's just like they have to have a substitute, and they put him in as a marketing move. There's also been discussion that he's probably not even legally allowed to play because he's on a student visa in the US, which means that you're not allowed to work, and they would probably consider playing professional Counter-Strike in this big event as work, and he might get deported for it. That's like genuine discussion I've heard from Americans when that was announced. But anyway, zero rumors. Acco Focus, their CEO, their Swedish CEO, has dropped hella leaks on live streams recently about what they have tried to do, including trying to buy Donk. He also mentioned that they offered a team somewhere in the top 30. He like went on the ranking page and opened like 15 different teams, team cards, and said we offered one of these teams $8 million to buy their roster or their core or whatever, and they declined. So that's like, it's kind of like at that point it was like the lowest ranked team that he was talking about was big. Heroic were on there, 3D Max were on there, like, and it went all the way up to, I think he had Foot on there obviously, but I think he had Navi on there as well, and it's like could have been any one of them. I don't know which one it was exactly, but money doesn't buy everything. You can just be too shit to be worth making that move. But anyway, I've lost all hope for this team ever being good, to be honest. I think Simple looks so checked out because just before these big events that they're going to play, he goes to a 2-month content creator boot camp in Andorra, which is where he is right now. Yes, Simple. When changes are being made in his team, and they are gearing up to go to another round of tier 1 events, which they got invites for. Well, Atlanta and then the Asia Championships, but that actually is kind of tier 1. He goes on a 2-month content creator bootcamp, and that's why he's been streaming so much recently. He's checked out, in my opinion. I think this team is cooked. I think Electronic's not calling. They're going to bring in whoever will join, which I don't know, Oscar maybe. Like it's like fuck it. Like somebody's going to say yes eventually, somewhere down the line, and they're still going to be shit. No core worth anything or ranked anywhere is actually going to accept their bid. I doubt they're going to be able to get a bait. I doubt they're even going to want to get like a Fnatic or an Inner Circle, which are like if you're trying to go the Ukrainian route. I doubt that Simple wants to go the Russian route. So yeah, it's this team is over, as I've said for a long time. Yeah, that's my take on it. Who do you want to come in? If you pick anybody to play Atlanta,
pick any, but I can't pick a player that's kind of on a team, right?
No, but like pick somebody who you think might happen. Like Kixan is a
Kixan's now there, which is wild, but also kind of mild. Why not? Could be Jimmy.
See, the thing is, Kixan and Jimmy, they have no... Unless they can... this is exactly the kind of thing that BC Game would do, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to start suggesting random players, like players who could be taken and they would go for
No.
That's the
But I'm trying to say, like, none of them have any reason to actually do this. Unless BC Game can do, like, yeah, we'll sign you until the end of the Cologne Major and then you can go to wherever you want. You just play out the season with us. Then, yeah, Kixan and Jimmy might actually do it.
Well, yeah, that's the sensible GMing approach, is you temporarily sign those two guys. And it's not just for their sake, it's for your sake.
Yeah.
You can evaluate how the team works. So yeah, no, the reasonable, sensible, best move probably is Kixan Jimmy.
On a 2-month contract, yeah.
What will end up happening, who the fuck knows? Like, who knows what's going to actually end up happening? Exactly, like it could be anything. So
get some local talent in there when they're going to Atlanta anyway. Put in my boy Junior. Anyway, that's BC Game. Actually, this flew under my radar. I saw it in the transfer sheet. Odic have benched 3. Woody, Natey, and Caselocks are out.
I didn't see this.
HLTV didn't write about it.
Odic have given up.
Yes.
But Caselocks, he's the greatest prospect ever.
Is he?
No, he's just always somewhere in the top 50 on the prospects report for HLTV, and I'm always just a bit like, man, he's so mid. Oh, Quack, you've disappeared.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I closed my browser tab. That's my bad. Genuinely my fault. No, you go quiet instead of trying to cover for it. What kind of host is this?
I was taken aback because I all of a sudden had no co-host. Now, spoiler everyone, it's not a frame. It is just a giant yellow box that we're both slipped on.
You get to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's a mighty fine sausage. Yeah, they've benched 3, Togs, Caselocks, and Wood 7. Wait, that's not recent, is it? Well, at least one of these isn't recent. Anyway.
Inactive date, April 16th.
Yeah, so Togs is the one that's not recent. Anyway, so Knight, Wood is 7, and Caselocks. Speaking of giving up and rebuilding, Odic have given up on a rebuilding. There you go.
There's a core for BC Game. Crazy already speaks the language. Oh, wait, no, you're benching him anyway. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, actually did. It's a strategic adjustment on the start of a new cycle. They're still committed. Yeah, so it's actually like a proper rebuild. But I'm assuming they're signing a core or something.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, that's the move. And is there a grade? What do you think about?
I mean, they are starting from the bottom, it seems. Unless they're signing a big Brazilian core, so it is probably like a C. Like it remains to be seen how well they do, because they have dropped some pieces that were playing fine in domestic Brazilian play.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, in other news, Hotu made changes as well after a close but no cigar run at the Cologne Major. They've decided to bench Duke Fizura, and Kalash's loan has ran out. So they're missing 2.
Yeah, so the Kalash part, when you tell me it's a loan that expired, it makes more sense. Because, otherwise I was just like, what are they doing? Not saying he's untouchable, it just seemed weird to be making multiple changes. It's a shame to see Duke Fizura's tenure end. I thought it actually gone fairly well. Considering where they got to as a team. Like, they were a relatively meh roster until Duke Fisura takes over IGL, basically, and they form that roster with him, where they float around 20th in the world on VRS. Like, that's pretty much what they do. I thought this was a weird change. I really do. The Kalash part, I mean, I never was a big fan of Kalash. I honestly, it's kind of bummed they didn't stick with Kadeo at some point, but whatever. They're a very good core. Norbert, Mizu, Frontales, like, that's a pretty good core. That's a tier 1.5 core right there. Like, if you can fill the other two spots well, you will make the next major. Like, that's essentially why they've made this change. Now, I still think Duke Fisura could have been a part of that team. I just think you had to fill a fifth. But they disagree. That's okay. The greatest nickname in Counter-Strike goes to the bench. It is what it is.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see who comes in. And it could be a Hobbit.
If they sign Hobbit, then fuck it, A++. Until then, it's a B.
Yep. Great news.
No?
Regali has signed for a team. The Dacious Sendero is available in left-hand drive market. No, Eternal Fire have signed 2 to replace their departing players. Regali is in, and Mistem is in. Out of Young Ninjas. Finally, he leaves the nest.
Finally. The not-so-young ninja.
Yeah. No, he's getting he's giving it a proper go with Regon, Demka, and Jota. And I'm looking at this roster, and I kind of see like a 38th world ranking. That's what I see when I look at this roster.
No, look, they're currently like outside the top 60 VRS, right?
Yeah.
They're 69th on VRS. This team could easily be top 40. And I think could press on even further than that if it goes right.
Oh yeah, it could.
If it goes right, they could press on much further than that. Like, this is actually a pretty cool team. Like, this is the sort of team that kind of excites me in like my tier 2, tier 3 dorky little way. Like, finally, Mistem gets a real team. Demka's good, Jota's good, Rigon's good, Regali's good. Like, they're just good players. They're just good players. And when they initially started making changes, you know, we talked about when they benched Calix and Warrior, I was like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is the idea here? Then they make these additions, like, oh, okay, never mind. Eternal Fire, you are allowed in the kitchen. Like, you have cooked, good sir. I kind of like this. This is a solid-looking Tier 2 roster. Sure, far from a guarantee to make the progression into Tier 1.5. We are talking about a lot of pieces that have had their struggles in the past with consistency, with delivering on potential and promise. But I'm a fan. Let them cook. This is pretty tidy. Yeah.
It's a little band of rejects. Like,
it is a bit. But
4 out of these have been benched from struggling tier 1 sides, like as fixes for their problems. And the 5th is Demka, who
is a problem.
I guess at this point, yeah, he must be a problem.
He's very direct and not very considerate in his communications, I believe the correct way to phrase it. And that can be sometimes a bit grating. There we go.
Yep. But I don't hate I like the Mistem signing. I think it's actually great that somebody picked him up because he's this is another one of those sort of like, oh, you've met him, so you like him. But
it's
I will
always
say
that case. Like, there's always once per episode, Quack's like, so this guy's my best friend, and he's gonna be a really good player.
He was like, in a way which most pro players aren't, he was like very committed and very serious about like making a good Young Ninjas team out of 4 players that nobody cares about. And I was like, okay, you know, that's like a very nice mentality to have about like stuff in his position, because he's been touching tier 1, both in like, you know, ATK and NIP before. I feel like if you're in that situation at this point, you might just be like, yeah, let me just play this out on a cushiony NIP, like a cushy NIP contract, and just eventually retire and go study or whatever. But no, he was like very, very, very committed. I was impressed. So yeah, let's see how this goes. hopefully they're in good hands. And that Young Ninjas team was pretty good. Like, they were pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, he's had a couple decent little stints in Young Ninjas where he's made not terrible results happen for teams that really should have been terrible. No, yeah, I dig him getting a chance. I like the addition of Regali. The world's
Sandera.
No, just everyone's favorite player, Bertram Sky included, gets another shot. Maybe he'll make the major this time. Maybe he won't. We'll find out. But
we will find out.
Dope little team. I'll give him an A. What's next?
Wildcard have benched Peeping, and they've signed 6E, and also a coach. Just today, they promoted Splawik from their academy team. So, Peeping 6E is the move here.
Peeping for sexy. Had to be done. Peeping, I'm sorry, your last update looks too much like a Mormon. Like that photo. Just too Mormon core. It's giving hello, which we just can't have on our professional Counter-Strike team. So, here's what it is. Sexy had to come back. We're bringing Sexy back. Which, if that's not the music playing in the announcement video every time he gets signed somewhere.
Yeah.
With him dancing as well. Like, we need to see him throwing it back. But anyway. Look, this roster had a shockingly, decent Bucharest. Not great, but shockingly decent. Considering I expected them to be complete dog shit. They were okay, and they even beat a team. Sure, that team was focused, but that's no mean feat, as Focus proved afterwards. So...
almost beat Paravision.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mess with this team. Did Peeping have to get cut? No, but... Sexy, I guess, is slightly better at certain things. I don't really understand fully how it's going to work, but screw it. Why not? Because when you look at just HLTV profile, Nimanha, Sixy, just last 3 months, the bars are almost the exact same. So I don't know how they figured this one in terms of the roles, but
make it work.
Hopefully it does just mean they are giving Sixy some more roles that are going to be favorable for him. So, yeah, no, but this roster with Hex and MHL has a bit of real quality. Like, MHL is not just a tier 2 onliner, apparently. Like, he's okay. He's an okay AWPer. And this squad is starting to make sense, so let's see it. I'm there.
Yeah. That's that move. Yeah, speaking of making moves, that's the entire segment. I don't know, I was trying to think of a segue. Ecstatic have benched everyone except for Nut.
It's a weird one, man. This is a weird one. I guess they had extended, expired. There we go. That's the word. As a roster, they'd kind of expired, but the full rebuild, kind of crazy. But Nut is great. That's a pretty good player to keep hold of. Everyone else, they're not trash. It's just not good enough.
Oh,
they've kind of taken a fall off. I mean, I still think TMB will be a successful IGL in the tier 2 scene. So I'm hoping he gets another shot somewhere. But yeah, it seems like Static are hardcore rebuilding.
Yep. The Nut is staying in. They signed Sinzi as their new coach. And honestly, the bench players, Anlelele, TMB, Buzz, and Nikodos, as much as wasn't good enough, Nikodos dropped a 119 in almost 100 maps.
Yeah, no. This is a core. Take 4 of them, take 3 of them. I don't care, but you've not got a terrible team on your hands. Probably take 3 just to freshen up the ideas. Stick in 2 more Danes or whatever's. Yeah. OG, if you need some change, there you go.
Bring back Nikodos, yeah.
Yeah, bring back Nikodos, TMB, and Lele or something like that. It's not worse.
That's great.
It's not the end of the world.
It's a 119 for what have they? Okay, they do win more maps than they lose, because I felt that they've been losing a lot, but maybe I was just watching the wrong games. Anyway, we briefly touched on this move the last time, but Cybershock have benched Phenomen for reasons of fixing visa issues. I don't know why they would have to bench him. We are temporarily benching Phenomen, and then they start practicing with 6 different operas. Alcaren comes in to play 1 online event. It was an online event. Why couldn't Phenomen play? And then they also signed Fluffy
I don't know shit about Fluffy, to be honest. Like, he's on Oksuji.
And he was on Nuclear Tigres, and he was on Bucks.
Yeah, I've never think I've ever watched. I've watched one game of Oksuji, and it wasn't Fluffy's POV, so I don't really know what to say about him as a player. It's decent enough numbers in like tier 2.5, so we'll see what it becomes. Just a weird situation, yeah. Not sure what to make of it.
ESC have, speaking of weird situations, they've also dropped their team again.
But they have?
So that is, yes. That's Samey, By Me, Raiko, Olymp, and Moonwalk, who are gone once again. They keep playing under the squad name Walshaki, which, hang on, btram sent me a voice message on how to pronounce this. Let me listen real quick, just so I'm not spreading misinformation.
No one cares.
Walshaki. Walshaki is what they are now called. And yeah, this team raises a lot of suspicions because of how well they play online and how shit they play on LAN, etc, etc, etc. ESC, I don't know, I guess got fed up. They also haven't really improved since the last time they sold them, so why would they bring them back? So hey,
I mean, second at CST19, top 4 at CST20, straight 3-0 non-win clutch series group. Like, they're not playing that badly. Like, that's just not true. It's not they've been shit that they've been benched. Like, that makes no sense.
No. That's not what I mean. I just mean that eight months ago, when ESC sold them, they did nothing. Like, they didn't improve.
Well, they literally did nothing. As in, they literally didn't play. That was the problem.
Yeah. But anyway,
it made no sense.
For whatever reason, ESC have decided after like just 1 month, they've decided not to keep playing with them. And obviously that has also raised a couple of eyebrows. Like, why did they make that decision? Why?
Yeah.
Why after only 1 month?
Has Reiko, 26-year-old talent, finally given up inside match fixing?
More likely Olymp, because Olymp I know is also just a cunt. Like,
okay.
And match fixers are often cunts. I'm not saying it's 100% correlation, but it's a sign. If you are consistently a cunt, then you might just be a cunt. Anyway, also in Polish news, Phantom have benched Minio. They haven't announced a replacement, and I don't think they've... Well, they played... No, the last time they played was with Minio. So yeah, they now don't have an in-game leader. What do you think about Minio? I have my opinions on Minio. I think he is the Hunden of 2026 because he plays very poorly on the server. But his calls are not always horrible.
Yeah, they had a nice park and run that I'm bringing. Or the urban, they played a good event here or two, two here and there. But generally, they're not that great a team. It's not the worst. It's not the end of the world to be benching Minio, really. It's a classic combo. It's like Key and Kylar and Milky in 2026. Like, whatever. Like, it's okay. You can bench these people. And they bench Minio. Like, it is what it is.
Is what it is. Finally, maybe some players that Ho2 can sign. Novak have benched 3, which was their final 3. It was Neelan, Pump, and Tasman.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really want to sign them, but yeah, they have certainly become available.
Well, I mean, Ho2, let's be honest. Ho2 need an in-game leader, and Neelan is available.
Yeah, so that's the kind of signed by default thing that would get Neelan signed. I agree.
Yes,
I just don't think they have to sign him by default.
No, but they will.
They won't. Have faith. Believe in something, man. Godless sweet.
What do you think? What do you think about Tasman? He actually had good ratings, I saw.
He's okay. He's okay for this level. I don't think he's gonna be a great sort of fragging influence on a Ho2 level side. Like, I don't think he's gonna be a big shifter. Could play the support spots, and if he's got the mentality for it, could play him well. But that's about it.
Yep. All right. That's it for the shuffles. That's all the shuffles that have been shuffling.
Okay. It's a long-ass set of shuffles. We're now over the 2-hour mark, which I was not expecting at this point. But yeah, let's close the show the way we always do. It's time for Prospects of the Week. Quack, I'll let you go first. Who have you
Yes.
selected?
Note, I just mentioned that Young Ninja Squad is actually pretty good. And 20 years old, Note, who I have watched play previously on LAN. He's played very well when I watched him, and this week was great for him as well. It's rare. Young Ninjas have actually started playing HLTV covered games kind of regularly now, which is very nice because we actually end up seeing quite a bit of these players. And yeah, this past week, Note dropped a very, very, very neat little stat line in online play. So kudos to him. He actually looks like a really good player. So I'm excited to see how he develops. Belgian CS is back.
Yeah, the post, basically the post openers are OP, round swing punishes you for dying stupidly sort of meta of your star riflers are getting more and more trade and clutch heavy. Continues to like manifest. Note 88 clutching and trading since joining Young Ninjas. Quite probably
This week it's
0.07
91.
clutch points per round. Like a kind of nuts stat line. He's been huge for them. A lot of trade kills. Like almost 6 trade kills per 24. Like that's pretty high. I think it's higher than like a lot of top players who are trade heavy. That's a pretty incredible number. Doesn't open really at all, and if he does, he dies. It's actually kind of impressive how late round he is, despite having a 0.7 DPR. He really does seem to find, like, I'm going purely off numbers here. He does seem to find a way to die if it's impactful. Just realized the stats I was reading out earlier about his clutching is all T sides, but whatever. He's certainly exciting, more exciting than he has looked, at least on the stat page on other teams like Nemesis, Laser Cats, Nine Academy. Like it was always fine. You know, there's a lot of it's fine type of stuff. But this is the first team he's played on where he's been himself truly successful, undeniably successful. And yeah, there's a reason this Young Ninja side won United League. He's a part of that.
Yeah, this week he has a 100% win rate in one-on-ones.
Well, he has a 100% win rate on one-on-ones for like a long time, actually.
Yeah.
If I look back, since joining Young Ninjas, he has a 100% win rate in one-on-ones.
Yeah, and he won 2 1-on-2s as well this week. And a 1-on-4. Holy shit. This guy's insane.
Yeah, he's just been clutching up. So yeah.
That's what he did. That's what he did when I was watching him as well. It's like I haven't seen him this week. I saw him on the stats sheet, but I saw him like a month ago, and he was just consistently clutch, just winning rounds that they should not be winning. Bullshit rounds. I love that. He's a new twists.
Okay, I won't go there. Now, I've selected a player who played the exact same event. I selected Fireflux's Quality. Yes, Fireflux selected. I'm not sure if it was formerly ex-Gank is who they signed. And Quality, he's a player who is 19 years old, Turkish. He's been putting up pretty nuts stats for a while, but I sat down because I was doing some writing or some prep on some demos. I was watching some prospecty type stuff. That's what I was doing. And I was going through some stats out of curiosity, and I saw this guy pop up on some stat sheets. I was like, that's a new one for me. Let me take a look. Let's see how much he lives up to his name. Is he truly a Faramir? Well, fuck me. This kid is good. This kid's actually good. Like, I was shocked with how good he was. He's a long way from the top end. Obviously, he's playing relatively bad teams, and Lord, his team can't even beat some of these rosters. But he himself, like his POV, kind of nice. He's kind of nice. I watched him basically just utterly annihilating Brute, which isn't the highest level team. Far, Mikey, Reelson, Masked, MBQQ. These are tier 2 mainstays, essentially. And he's a 19-year-old playing on a team that's, as a team, bad. Despite that, found good pockets. His spacing on his trades is really good. The aim is there. The pre-aims are there. The spray's solid. Like, this kid is good. So Quality, Turkish player, currently playing on Fireflux on ex-Gank. He also dropped like 125 his entire time on them. He's just been on a tear. This is one to watch. This is a Turkish player worth caring about. Because look, he's not just a hard opener. So maybe he could actually add something new to an Aurora eventually. But yeah, this guy kind of excited me this weekend. So I thought it was a great time to pick him.
Yeah, it's not even like as much as he destroyed Brute. There was still a 3-mapper, which ended in an overtime. He dropped a 173.
Ass. Like his team.
Yeah. He dropped a
No offense to the rest of those
173
lads.
over 3 maps. That's insane output. But yeah. Crazy kid. I had no idea this guy existed. But
neither did I till this
now I do.
weekend. Neither did I. And
Yeah.
you know, that crazy part is they win 2-1. It's an overtime on map 3. He drops a 210 rating.
Yeah.
Utterly insane. And fits a relatively similar profile to Note. So I think it was great pairing by us, accidentally picking similar players. But all right, that's going to be it for this show. Thank you very much to our members for supporting us again and again, making the show available on audio-only platforms and enjoying the perks that come with it. Shout out to our biggest contributors, who are the court contributors, Excel, Romish, and crap, I thought I could get all 3. Amnesiac, there we go, off the top of my head. The court honor roll can be found in the description. If you want to join, please do. Leave a comment on your thoughts on any of these topics, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.